What's up, Gunners? Lone Star Londoner and BX Gunner obviously don't understand what it's like to be in showbiz. This is called fashionably late. That's what this is. So, Stan, I'm sure you've got probably a word or two on that. You've been known to do a little bit of showbiz in your life, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't have my own trailer or anything like that, though. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like,
Did you have to share a trailer?
didn't even have a trailer, man. I stood outside in the fucking like a
okay. Stay like around a campfire, you know.
Basically.
The closest he's been is to a trailer park.
All right. Yeah, we're not going to talk too much about showbiz today. This is actually a show based on Arsenal Football Club, and we are all supporters of said club. So big one on Thursday, a big one this past Sunday. Good win, and we are going to get straight into it. Wait! Obscene profit timeout.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
All right, no more videos or I'm not going to make any promises on the overlay things. So, but yeah, gentlemen, how we doing? Ryan, I'm going to start with you. Well, let's go around the horn here real quick, just in general. Ryan, how are you? Are you muted?
Yeah, I'm muted. Biggest rookie. Yeah, doing good. Slowly but surely preparing for Thursday. Judgment Day, as Lone Star Londoner says, and that it is.
Yeah. Stan the man out there on the West Coast.
Doing very well, mate. And we've got sunshine here now in North Vancouver, so the days are looking quite bright. It's nice to be out and getting some fresh air.
Yeah, it's got to feel good again.
Of course, with my mask on, of course.
Got to feel good to get a little vitamin D in your life, right? Rohan, how are things up in the big city?
Things are good, doing much better than last week. I remember like being down and after having my NyQuil, I was just hearing you guys slating Oba, but I agreed with everything you said. So the only thing I typed was no defense, and then I just sort of like passed out at some point. But yeah, doing much better today, and
good.
Looking forward to Thursday.
Good to hear it. So I'm going to give Lawrence Emmanuel a shout out here because this might actually be, in the history of this show, not that we have a long history, this might be the fastest that we've ever gotten a super chat on this show. Give me a sec here because this overlay doesn't want to cooperate.
It all goes downhill from here on, Lawrence. So.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, right. So Lawrence, well done. You currently hold the record. I think that came in at right around 3 minutes and 45 seconds on the super chat. But thank you very much for that, man. We do appreciate it. Tanner, you seriously didn't say Sheffield United was a big game. Before I get into letting you guys have your say, I'll have my say, and I'll try to be quick about it. Yeah, it was a big game, not because of the standing in the league and the 3 points or anything else. Although, yeah, look, Europa League is not off the table, and I've said before I'd rather have it than not. I know there are some folks out there that would say, yeah, nope, you know what, don't want it, and so be it. That's a bit cocky, in my opinion. But saying that, it's Champions League or I don't want to play European football. Well, excuse me, but it's a big game, and this is why. And Ryan, you and I had this debate on, I think we had this debate on Thursday after it was, we had this debate at some point.
Yeah, the aftermath show.
But Sunday was against Sheffield was a big game because we needed some momentum. We needed to know what it felt like to win again. To see the ball go in the back of the net, not just once. It needed to go in the back of the net a few times. So I'm going to give you guys your say. Ryan, I'll start with you. Sunday, you've got some thoughts on some things, so dive in. Lay it on me.
So my beer of the week kind of is going to be what I'm talking about. And beer of the week is a Fantastic Voyage by, what is it? Some microbrewery in South Windsor, Connecticut. What's it? Connecticut Valley Brewing Company. It's a little submarine. Because it's been such a fantastic voyage. Going from the lowest of lows Thursday, where we should be sacking Arteta, to we're going to win the league and beating Sheffield. To some people, anyways. But cheers. Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. Hoppy. Anyways,
one of my favorites.
So it's funny. And yes, Glenn, those are flip-flops that you hear. But to be fair, I think this was actually an important game, not because of competence, not because of what we need to take into the game on Thursday. The game was important to me because of the players, the personnel that we put out, the formation we imposed, and what we did with the ball. Now, it's tough because we played Sheffield, and, they're the worst team in the league, so it's really tough to gauge, but I really liked what we did. And to be fair, I think Arteta was kind of forced into doing it, but we played a diamond back four, which is for most of the game, which is very strange. Which, I talk about this pinwheel of death. Well, guess what? We got a pinwheel of defense, and I actually really enjoyed it. And yeah, you're chuckling. I got it. Yeah. Anyways, but I enjoyed it, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I did. I enjoyed Xhaka at left back. I think that's a position that I think it best suits him. We kind of keep him out of danger because I don't want my most error-prone player to play in the middle of the pitch. I don't want it, and he's a very defensive player, and he's not terrible defensively when he's not getting rinsed. So I think he put in a good shift. I think he had a good game, and I think seeing him play left back is not bad because, again, the pinwheel of defense. He can move around the field. He can play in the back of the diamond. He can kind of play in the front. I don't want him to, but he can do it. I think it's more Partey's role. But he can kind of be all over that back line. He could give us that defensive presence that we need. And, hence, the second half of the game, he was a kind of our lone defenseman while Mari and Holding were, in the box for corner kicks. So I actually really liked. It was an interesting balance in the fact that our defense was very defensive and our attack was very attaxive. I think I just made a word up. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think we had two pinwheels on, up top with Saka and Pepe, switching it up, doing what they could do. And to be fair, I think if Aubameyang played, I think you would have seen the pinwheel a little more because Lacazette's kind of just that central player. But Listen, I really liked it. It was Sheffield, but I like what we can do with the ball going forward. Yeah, I can, and I'm going to. I think this position best suits him. He's not playing in front of Tierney when Tierney's healthy, but I think that he should be, barring trying to go very attack-heavy with Saka playing left back, I think Xhaka should be our left back going forward. But yeah, I like the pinwheels that we put out, and I think Ceballos' role was really interesting to see. And, bar Lacazette's scoring 2 goals, I think he was easily the man of the match. And his flicks, he knew where the plays were. He read the field like he knew where everybody was. And it was shocking watching him do his flicks and turns. And I was like, how does he know, all it takes is one Sheffield player to be there and he's losing the ball. So it was definitely great to see. And I'm sure we'll talk more about it because his performance kind of mirrored Ainsley Maitland-Niles' performance for West Brom, where he put in a man of the match performance. And, there's talk now, can Ainsley now play the Ceballos role in our, I guess, attack going forward?
Okay. Well said. Surprised, actually, at your praise of one Granit Xhaka. So, but
he had a great game, but I just think what he can do for us, like he switched fields really well.
Yeah.
He played Saka good balls. He played Ceballos good balls. Like, he could do that. He when it's not his back toward the other 9 outfield players, he could do some things, and he's very defensive minded. So I think he could definitely work out for us if we persist with playing Pepe, playing Lacazette, playing Saka. I mean, I don't know how Saka is with his injury, but we could kind of not worry about playing Willian and having those wingers having to do defensive duties. You could play Martinelli, you could play Pepe. So it's definitely interesting to open our eyes up and let our forwards do more.
Real quick, Stan, before I bring you in on your thoughts on Sunday, Lawrence, do me a favor. We do greatly appreciate the super chats here, and we'll get in. We'll maybe touch on this a little bit. Does anyone really believe that Aubameyang came down with the flu before the game on Sunday? I'm not overly worried about it, to be honest with you, but we can get into this more. But do me a favor, save the super chats. And if you guys will check the link in the description below, there's a link for Tony Turner's GoFundMe. Stan, I'll tell you what, Stan, just shout that out for us because you always do a good job with that. And then give me your thoughts on Sunday. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, brother. if you can read lips, turn away. If you can read lips, turn away.
So I don't actually know what Tony's GoFundMe thing is. It's Tony Turner. I don't know what there's a thing for it, but just go to Tony Turner's his Twitter page. Tony, if you're in there, stick it in the chat box so that we can find it all. I don't have it with me right now.
That sounded kind of dirty, Stan.
Yeah, I liked it.
I said chat box.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
But the best way for me to describe Sunday is for me to, and I wish I had a graphic of this, because I refer to it as this new thing I've got now, the stanometer. The stanometer. When I started with a Teta,
I like it.
I was at 50-50, right? And the stanometer was at 50-50. And it's kind of been all the way at 50-50 till about maybe a couple of weeks ago where it kind of moved to 60-40 against. And that's kind of where it's been resting. But after that last game, it's come down a little. It's at 45-55. Because I'm trying to look at these things. We come on here and we look at things on a game-by-game basis. And obviously, I know that we were only playing Sheffield United, who are fighting relegation. But the two things that I like about it was that, one, we needed to have a response before we go into probably the biggest game of our season. And we need to be going in there on the back of what I felt was a good performance, because it was one of the first times that watching the team play, you could see what they're doing. And they seemed to have an idea about what it is that they were doing on that day. As Ryan said about the diamond back four, and sometimes it was kind of shifting to a back three. Everything was so fluid. Saka in a 10 position, and then sometimes drifting out wide. Also as well, it was really good that Lacazette. I thought a lot of people were saying about the Lacazette goal, how it was kind of like Wengerable. Yeah, but I disagree with that. Maybe what we had a glimpse at was something that's going to get to known as Arteta ball. Maybe what we're seeing when we see these good little glimpses of, I mean, the pass from Thomas Partey to Lacazette. I mean, if we can get a lot more of them going on, and I've been quite critical of him, saying I ain't seen shit from him really since he's come to us. I know that he's had his setbacks of injuries and that, but I just haven't really seen it. I was really impressed with him in the last game, and there were times when it almost seemed that he was in the midfield on his own, which I kind of liked. So I'm thinking of maybe if you have a Thomas Partey, does he need to have another defensive midfield next to him, or could he have 2 8s? Maybe one of them's a bit box to box, because he seemed to be winning the battle as well. And the passing that he was doing, I was really impressed with Thomas Partey. And I'd like to see him having more games and having more of an influence on the game like he did just gone. But more importantly, though, it's so important for us to be going into the game on Thursday off of the back of a bit of a good feel around the team. There has to be a good feel around the team. They have to feel a little bit pleased with scoring 3 goals. And even the Martinelli goal, it's good to see that someone's running in there to get that goal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I put out my tweet, really good to see 3 good finishes, and someone said, my nan could score Martinelli's. But the point of it is, maybe a couple of months ago, there's a rebound and there's nobody coming in to put that away. Do you know what I mean? And we're all saying, like, where is everybody? So it's little things like that.
The best. Let me piggyback off that real quick. The best ability is availability, and Martinelli was available to put that ball in the back of the net. Because you're exactly right, Stan. A month ago, there's probably nobody there for that rebound.
Yeah,
nobody, and that ball just keeps rolling harmlessly onto the foot of a defender, and then the line is cleared, and off you go the other direction. But that's an absolutely brilliant point. Yeah. But yeah, sure, I could have scored the goal and I'm fat. So, but the fact is he was there, and that being in the position was what's important about the Martinelli goal. Again, yeah, anybody, I could have gotten one of my beagles to put that ball in the net, for crying out loud. So
but now the key is on Thursday we have to. The one thing that we've been able to do this season for me has been inconsistent all over the place. We need to follow this performance up now with another consistent display. I need to see a team playing as one, and I kind of saw that against Sheffield United, and I haven't seen that in such a long time. Xhaka didn't annoy me in that game. He didn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, fuck, but he didn't annoy me, and what he done on that day was good. But it's all about Thursday now. You're only as good as your last sale, they used to say to me when I worked in sales.
Yeah.
And we're now moving onto Thursday, and they need to come up with the goods again.
Yeah. Real quick to Lone Star Londoner's comment here, and I put it up only because I actually have a T-shirt that is similar to this. It's like a light powder blue T-shirt. It just has a picture of Jesus in hockey pads as a goalie making a save, and it just says, Jesus saves. And then on the back it says, and Crosby scores on the rebound. And I know for Ryan, that probably stings a little bit. But it's funny. And Sidney Crosby is in the top 5 best hockey players of all time. Anyway, Rowan, Stan is absolutely right, because the importance of this game was to get the momentum, the confidence, and then lead into consistency, right, for Thursday. But give me your take on Sunday, and
so lucky Glenn's in the comments and not here right now.
Absolutely. It reminded me of The Longest Yard, right, where they say that they in preseason always get a team that they batter, and then they go into the season because they want that confidence to be up. And the last 2 games, the confidence hasn't been around. We had the international break, we came back, Liverpool absolutely got demolished there. Then we went into the game at home against Prague, and a difficult one, which we got the lead. What a goal by Pepe! Absolutely loved that. The way he played that. The body strength, the pace, the finish, everything was there. And then, we should have held on. We aren't talking about the fact that now I'd say that these are 2 games in which we've conceded 4 goals, and out of those 4 goals, 3 have been Gabriel's fault. 2 against Liverpool for sure. And in that last moment, why did he try to pass it back? Why did he try to pass it to the defender in the last minute instead of passing it back to Leno for him to boot ahead? What is up with piling up pressure in the Europa League game when we should have just closed that game out? Gabriel for me showed inexperience there, right? And that cost us. And, they hit the bar. Leno saved it. It hit the post, and we could have been, level at that point. We got away with it. Then horrendous defending, and we conceded 1-1. So 2 games that have been not really great, and then we come against Sheffield United. For me, it's a game that we should have won anyway. but this season has proved that we don't always go around doing our business the way we're supposed to. So it was a brilliant game. There's nothing negative to say. Xhaka was really good in the left back spot. I don't completely agree that he should be left back, because against a half decent opposition, he's going to get absolutely rinsed. He just doesn't have the pace or the agility to play.
He gets rinsed in the middle of the field too. It doesn't really matter, I think.
But in midfield, for me, he's one of our most important midfielders. Ceballos had a good game, but his flicks, etc., isn't going to always pay off. And Xhaka is the guy who adds that power and passing and some amount of defense to our midfield. And that's just it's not to say that Xhaka is so good, but it's that our midfield is so bad that Xhaka is one of our most important midfielders, just as important as Partey, if not more, right?
But
so
and Elneny doesn't make individual errors that lead to goals.
And Lenny doesn't do that, but he just passes back, and he just does the same thing again and again. You can't expect to win games. He can close out games, but he can't. If the only thing that you want is this guy doesn't make mistakes, then you have to choose Elneny over Xhaka. But
he's our best midfielder against.
Isn't that a good thing? I don't want a player that makes mistakes. Isn't that a good thing?
He's our best midfielder against pressure.
He's a necessary evil. Xhaka in this team is a necessary evil.
And he wants screamer from 30 yards as well.
He can, exactly. Well, Elneny again. So, given how we played, the first goal, really good team play there. The second goal, again, we're talking about Martinelli and the tap-in, but we also need to talk about that run from Pepe, right? I thought at one point he was going to go down and get the penalty, but he didn't. And he shot it low and wide. He forced the keeper to make that save and, parry it out to a danger area. So again, Pepe needs to get some credit for that. And the third one, I think, Lacazette deserves some credit that he's now, not completely lost his confidence after Prague. And Lacazette generally has been in good form for me. I said that you play him till the time he's in his purple patch, and he really is. So, all in all, good preparation, but this was exactly that. It was preparation for Thursday, and we don't want to see these mistakes that we saw last Thursday.
Right. I had put out a tweet after
frozen.
What's that?
Sorry. I didn't know my mic was on because I froze it on my screen.
Yeah, I can hear you. But you're like
you're mid eye roll.
Yeah, pretty much. There we go. Now he's back. I put out a tweet after the game on Sunday, and it basically said, and there have been some opinion. And by the way, everybody in the chat box, Stan, go ahead and acknowledge everybody over there again. That's kind of your thing. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, man. Who came in first tonight? All the way back first was obviously Gary was in there. Don't waste the tweet. Glenn AFC from New York. Hi, Glenn. Thanks for stopping up and coming over to see us. Lone Star London are there every week. BX Gunner 81 been in there for a few weeks now. And the very generous Lawrence Emmanuel, who's with us every week. Tony, Dubba Ducky, Raul. And I saw Dean. There was Dean in there as well. Troy Boss.
Dean Christian's in there. Troy Boss, that's a new one. I haven't seen that name.
And we've got the Gooners podcast as well in the background, overwatching everything. And Inti Anand, one of my favourite handles, and Ray Anderson.
Stay Fresh is in there as well.
And Dave and Raul. Yeah, I'm just scrolling down.
Usual suspects in there. So you guys are doing a great job, by the way, in the chat. Lots of good points being made over there. And I don't ever want you guys to think that not putting your comment up means I don't see anything. I'm listening to these guys, I'm reading the comments, and it's always good stuff from you guys. So it just, if I put up every comment, we never get a show done here. So, but a few comments, and I put out a tweet after the game on Sunday. Let's keep things in perspective here. We put up 3 goals on the worst team by far in the Premier League this year. It's 3 points, it's 3 goals, it's a good win, but it is against the worst team in the league. So I think it was very businesslike what we did. But the reason that the game meant so much, and I think we've all at one point or another touched on it, is the momentum and the confidence going forward to Thursday. We need to feel a win again, because you're coming off of a loss, and then what felt like a loss, the loss to Liverpool, the draw to Slavia Prague, that feels like a loss. And if we would have drawn, or worse, to Sheffield, even a 1-0 win, I don't think would have really set very well with the majority of the fan base. So that's why this is a big game. Everything clicked. For the most part, everything clicked. We were dominant from the first kick of the ball. So that's why this is a big game. I'm not getting gassed over the result itself and what it means in the league. It has more to do with what it means going forward for the next game. And at the end of the day, let's face it, the most important game of any season for any team is always the next game, right? And that's what I said last week. It's like, no. And Ryan, I mean, he flat out argued with me about, no, Sunday against Sheffield doesn't mean anything. And I was hearing this all the time. It's like, no, this is the most important game of the year right now because it sets everything up for this coming Thursday. So let's dive in a little bit to. We're going to go off on a different path here.
I also think that the performance also showed me that that talk of players down in tools is bullshit.
Yeah.
And also like Sheffield United, they may be fighting relegation, but they didn't just stand there and let us run around them. They were trying to have a go. They were trying to press and they were trying to get about it. I'm not saying that they were Real Madrid, but they didn't just stand there and let us, run around them. They were, they were mobile and they were trying to get in there.
They competed.
Yeah.
They competed.
That's
absolutely. They competed as well. They should. They're going down. They're going down. They're like 15 points away, I think, from relegation or something with 8 matches left to play. And it's just, they're going down. But they competed. And that's good because at least, like you said, they didn't just stand there and let us run around it, because if that would have been the case, then it's kind of like, yeah. Okay. They did really just kind of stand there. They didn't really put up much of a fight, but they put in a challenge, and like I said, they competed. So, Ryan, are you with us, or are you, your screen is black, so I don't know if you're there or not, but, Danny Ceballos is one that, Rowan, I'll start with you on Danny Ceballos. Impressed by his performance. You need to see more from him. He needs to do it more consistently. And would you give him a start on Thursday, all things considered?
I think not on Thursday. I wouldn't start him on Thursday. I'd go back to our regular midfield of Xhaka and Partey. I'd put Saka as left back, because you don't want to get exposed with Xhaka out there. And Prague, we've seen them play Rangers and get a 1-1 draw there. We've seen them play Leicester and get a 0-0 there. Those results aren't going to be good enough for us, right? Now we need wins. We need a structure that works for us, and we know that this is how it works. Danny Ceballos played well, but but that was his one good game after very, very long. And in fact, he's cost us a few goals in the Europa League. Yeah. So, I'd go back to the basics, put Xhaka and Partey in midfield, put Saka out there on left back. And we need that. We probably need that width as well. We didn't need all of that full back width on Sunday because it was Sheffield and we could just play through them. All of our goals that we scored came right through the middle, right? Like that's how we scored it. We scored all the goals within the width of the 18-yard box. There wasn't any play that had to be made from the sides. But I think that's going to be important against Prague. They've shown that they're difficult to break down. We couldn't break them down in the Emirates. So, I wouldn't play Ceballos, mainly because Xhaka needs to go back in there.
Stan, what's your take on Danny Ceballos from Sunday and then looking ahead to Thursday?
Well, I think up until the last game, I could probably count Danny Ceballos' good games in an Arsenal shirt on 4 fingers. That last game now means that in 2 seasons, I can count Danny Ceballos' good performances on 1 hand. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's another Burnley, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? He's just. I'm beginning to understand why he's probably never going to get a starting place at Real Madrid. Just too inconsistent.
Yeah.
You can see that he can do some good things, but he's not able to follow it up on a consistent basis. There are some games, to me, I think he looks absolutely horrendous. He's making passes and the ball's going out of play. Things like that. Positionally so unaware and just following the ball like a small child in the playground sometimes, turning the ball over. But there's other times where I've seen him like nip in, take the ball off another player's feet, turn around with the ball and start moving forward again. And I like it when I see that, but there's just not enough of it. So for me, I'm still at the place where I wouldn't take Danny Ceballos on loan. I wouldn't take him for free, because to me, that's just taking up a valuable spot on the squad for somebody else that I'd rather see have a chance.
So Ryan, same question, and I actually want you to follow it up because Rohan kind of started getting into it. You had talked on the tailgate last Thursday about how to beat Prague, and at the end of the day, I think most people will agree with what you had to say. So give me your thoughts on Danny Ceballos. Would you give him a start on Thursday, all things considered? And when I say that, kind of mean injuries and putting players that would normally play here, playing them back there, granted Xhaka. Give me your thoughts on Danny Ceballos, and then talk to us a little bit about how you think Mikel Arteta should be breaking down Slavia Prague.
It really depends on what he wants to do. If he wants to put out not the same 11, but he wants to put a similar 11 that we played against Sheffield, I think Ceballos could get the nod. Glenn, you might want to cover your ears, but I think someone like El Nene has to play. They pressed us really, really bad, and I don't care what you say, Rohan. I don't care what anyone says. El Nene is our best midfielder against pressure. Pass backwards, pass sideways, I don't care. When he came on the field against it was Prague. When he came on the field against Prague, it was late in the game. He was making forward passes. He was moving the ball forward because he knew we had to do something. We knew he had to make moves. He plays safe because, like you guys all said, he likes to see the game out, which you can't fault him for that. So yeah, I think El Nene is like the perfect midfielder we need to play because we don't. He's perfect in the fact that we don't have anybody better. Let me preface that. He's perfect. He's perfect against the pressure, at least for us. For right now, for who we have. And again, it's tough because we talk about Danny Ceballos, and I kind of agree with Stan. I don't know if I would take him on a free. And the whole it's probably something we could talk about now or talk about later. But you bring in the whole AMN situation. AMN did the same exact role as Ceballos did against Southampton, and he had a man of the match performance. So you go, okay, well, do we see AMN as an upgrade over Ceballos? Yeah, I can see that. But the question is, does AMN want to come back? Because I think he's got 2 feet out the door already. So I mean, it's very tough because I think we can upgrade and get even better than AMN. But if you're asking me who's better, AMN or Ceballos, yeah, I would take AMN because I think AMN's quicker. He's sprintier. He can change directions quicker than Ceballos can. And I think he's
and he's one of our own, and not some fancy Dan from Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Can I give you one word for what AMN has that Danny? Well, what he's better at than Danny Ceballos? What he's more athletic. That's exactly it. He's just more athletic than Danny Ceballos, I think.
And yeah, and also to that, and Tony's been shouting this out, and I agree with Tony. I know I haven't really been a big advocate of it because I just don't think we're that good. But I don't think we need 2 defensive midfielders. I think we need Partey as our lone, even though Partey's technically not a defensive midfielder. I think for what we have now, I kind of think we need to rock the 1 defensive midfielder, maybe 2 8s. There's so much we could do. I just feel like it goes back to what I'm saying. I say every podcast. Arteta is the project. He's going to force what he thinks is going to work down these players' throats, whether he has the right players or not. And for the future, I think I don't hate it, but is he going to be here long enough? Because if we lose to Slavia Prague on Thursday, I can't defend him. I can't argue being like, guys, trust the process. Like, it's just the Europa League.
This is a hot take then. Are you saying then, and I'd like to hear everyone's opinion and in the chat box as well, because I was thinking about this earlier. Are you at the point then where in Mikel's tenure, this is so pivotal on this game? If let's say we crash out really badly, own goal or some shit like that, down to 10 men, you name it. If we go out, are you saying that then that's for you? That's we need to change him?
I mean, if we lose 0-0, I think you kind of got to. I mean, I said this on the I think I said it on the Edgemouth and in the preview show to the game. Slavia Prague is the worst team we've played so far in the knockout stage. Slavia Prague are not as good as Benfica. They're not as good as Olympiacos, and they're easy to break down, and we can exploit them. We have runners. People say, like, Aubameyang's having a bad season. Aubameyang would have been really good against them. He still can be. Martinelli, really good against them. Pepe, really good. And that's the thing. We bought them 3 on, not together, but Martinelli came on earlier. We bought them 3 on. I don't even think all 3 of them need to start. You need like 2 out of 3. To me, and, big up to Lacazette for scoring 2 goals, really, really stamping his name on the Sheffield game. Yeah, it's Sheffield, I know, but he really made a comeback after kind of his really bad performance against Slavia Prague, but he's not suited for that game. Lacazette, and I said this when we saw the lineup before the game started, Lacazette should not be starting against Slavia Prague. He offers nothing. And again, it goes just back to Arteta, and it goes, Arteta wants to play his way, and this is what he wants to do. He sees that Arsenal are a better team than Slavia Prague, so let's not try to just counter what they want to do. Let's not try to cancel them out. Let's just play our game, and we're going to beat them with our game. Well,
but let me ask you, though, if we lose that game, forget if we go crashing out with penalties. If we just lose that game,
if we lose 0-0, we get knocked out. We don't go to penalties.
Do you think on that basis that Mikel should go? Not whether you think the club will. Do you think that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm still riding that fence. My ass is a little feeling a little bit, a little bloody, but
not from riding the fence, cowboy.
Yeah,
you walked in. You walked into that.
I did. No, but wait.
Hang on, real quick. I have a question for you guys.
Watching this shit, man.
I have a question real quick for you guys. What's the difference between a beanbag and a 14-inch purple dildo?
Go on.
Ryan doesn't like sitting on beanbags.
I don't listen. That you know what? That's
laughing. Why I'm laughing at your face. The look on your.
That's why I don't like the color purple. But anyways,
okay.
No, but yeah. I mean,
I could say something there, but my mum would like not like.
It's just tough because again, we're on a mission. It's Europa League or bust, and we're again. We are going against our easiest opponent so far in the knockout stage, and they knock us out. Something's not right, and. It sucks. I really want to give him the summer transfer window. All things considered, I do, but I don't know. I think I would probably still be Arteta in, but like I don't know. Because the club, if the club want to keep him, I have to support him. And just like you say, Stan, he's our manager. You must back him. I guess you don't have to back him, but you back him, and I agree with that sentiment. But I can't defend him if you get knocked out by Slavia Prague. You just can't. I don't see how you can defend it. I really don't.
So interesting. So London Trident, thank you very much for the donation. Again, just reiterate, guys, in lieu of super chats, please, the link is in the description for Tony Turner's GoFundMe for his new leg. Please, in lieu of a super chat, please go to the GoFundMe, drop a donation. If you just, if you want a message read, if you do that in lieu of the super chat, just put up something, donation made. We don't need the amount. We don't, that's your business. But just put up a donation made, and then leave your comment, and I'll be more than happy to put it up on the screen. and read it. But London tried to thank you very much for the donation. What's changing the manager going to do? Seriously, Slavia beat Leicester with this. Slavia beat Leicester. This Arsenal team can't beat Leicester. First thing got to change is the board. Well, that's not 100% true there. London tried it because we beat Leicester 3-1. So, but that being said, the point before that is well taken. Slavia Prague beat I think Leicester for the second leg. We're missing James Madison.
Right. Yeah.
But they had him in the first leg. They beat Leicester. They beat them in both games of that leg, of that tie, if I'm not mistaken. In the first leg, that was a full strength Leicester squad, if I'm not mistaken. They also beat Rangers in the next round. But if you go back to the group stage, now Nice was not the Nice team that they are right now. Nice is in very good form at the moment, but they were not in the group stage back in the fall. But Prague also beat Leverkusen at home in the group stage. They have some impressive wins here.
And then Leverkusen beat them 4-0.
And Leverkusen turned around and did beat them 4-0. It was 4-0. 4-0. But dead rubber because both teams were through at that point. I will say that as well. So take it for what it's worth. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, Ryan, and I don't know if anybody else does on the point that they're the worst team of the three that we've played in the knockout stages. I'm just saying I think when you say they're the worst team, I'm not disagreeing with it, but there needs to be a bit of a caveat there. They're not the worst team out there right now. You know,
football math doesn't work though. Like you can't use football math to disprove me or prove me. Like doesn't work.
I'm just sort of throwing a counterpoint out. I'm not I said, it's not a disagreement.
No, that's fair. And I think my real reasoning is more so so Olympiacos, Benfica, and now Slavia Prague. I think out of the three teams, I think we're. I'm a big MMA guy. I love watching MMA. There's always it's all the matchups. It's all about, this guy might beat this guy, but he won't beat this guy. But then it goes back to what I was saying. MMA math doesn't work. So I just think we match up better with Slavia Prague than we do Olympiacos, do Benfica. I think we have tools. We have Martinelli in the anime. No. And if that's all canon.
I want to take Ryan seriously, right? But he's got a big smiling poo over his shoulder. That's cute.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, Stan. Next week it's going to be a big purple foam dildo.
Listen, Stan. If we get knocked out on Thursday, you'll probably see me on the podcast with a bunch of holes in the back of it. So, anyways,
hang on. I've been corrected a few times. In the chat, it was the first leg of Slavia Prague Leicester was a 0-0 draw. So I stand corrected on that one. I thought they beat them. I thought it was 1-0 for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't know. I just think we match up better. We have speed. We have pace. We have guys that are willing to just throw themselves at the net. Granted, can they score? I don't know. But the way their goalie was playing against us last Thursday, he was passing us the ball at certain points.
He really was.
It's scary, So. I'm worried. I guess I'm worried because I'm so confident that we're gonna advance that that little piece of me. Because there's so many games I'm sure all of us can attest to. Maybe not all of us where we're like, oh, we got this. Again, it's the hope that kills you. And you're like, oh, we're doing so good, we got this. And I just think Slavia Prague is so bad that we have to advance. That has to get the equation right. You would think. So but the little part of me is yeah, but what if all of the whole team gets COVID and we have to play the U23? I mean anything can happen. You think if we get knocked out by Slavia Prague, it's to me it's more embarrassing than last year against Olympiacos for sure.
Let me bring up a comment here and then Stan, I want to backtrack to your original question, but DJ Touchy, that's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie to that. That's a pretty funny name.
Yeah.
Mentally, if we switch on, we will win games. I got no problem with our football. We need to be focused and believe in our ability. And this isn't a matter of talent. There's talent in this squad. When we're switched on, when all 11 players in this squad switch on, and are in sync with one another, we can play some really, really good, nice football. The problem is we only get 2 or 3 that switch on per game, and none of them that, like, one defender, one midfielder, and one attacker, and it never works. And it just never works, or it works far less often than it should. But that's yes, I agree 100% with this.
I think it just comes down to the roles that they put. Like Ceballos, if Ceballos is tasked to play defense and offense, he can't do it. It's too much work for him. He can't handle it. He needs to just have one role, roam free, duty.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's
Mike. Who said? Listen, DJ Chuchi. We don't know what he's into. He could be into,
Oh my
50
God!
I was kind of like thinking more on like the Jimmy Savile tip. You know what I mean? From being from England, but I get it.
Stan, re-ask the question again for Rowan, and then I'll jump in at the very end here.
Well, basically, yeah. Basically, all of you, right? Raise your hand in your little square if you think that if we lose to Slavia Prague, not what the board's going to do, if you think that Mikel Arteta should get his marching orders if we don't progress in the Europa League. Show of hands if you think he should. I thought you was a hands up, Ryan.
No, I said I want to give. I said I want to give him the summer transfer window, but it's I can't defend him. But I really do think he has a knack with the younger guys.
So everybody seems comfortable then with Mikel Arteta. No matter what happens this season, right? Let's say we crash out of the Europa League, and let's say some of the results towards the end of the season aren't favourable. Everybody is comfortable, sort of like with this narrative, like we've got a load of gits, we've got some gits that we need to get rid of. Let's get them in the transfer market, and then let's see what roll the dice and let's have another look. Is that where we all are?
No, so I wouldn't judge him only on this game, but the judgment for me is till the end of the season, which includes the 7 other games that are left, right? Like, because a lot of times Arteta, he's made weird choices for me. There's no Aubameyang's out of form, right? Don't play him. You don't need to play him. He tries to shoehorn Aubameyang in the team, and then that costs us games. Now it could be a blessing in disguise with his flu and whatnot, and Aubameyang's not playing. Flu, exactly, right? So you try and play Martinelli there. Martinelli is back, and he's that firecracker that we need, right? Who has that sense of urgency in that team. Like, really, he's the guy who can make things happen, right? But there are things that he says we play without a handbrake, right? We play without a handbrake, but what he does is plays with absolute handbrakes on, right? All of these things don't make any sense to me. And so Arteta needs to show some clear vision, right? That thing that Ryan says, that he doesn't care what the players are and who the players are, and he's going to just continue to play the way he wants to play. That doesn't work for me. He needs to play according to what the team is. And if he can't do that, then he has to go. So if he crash out on Thursday, it's not just because of him, because we should have won the first leg easily, and we should have gone through on that basis. But if he can't do that, then it's 8 games that I judge him on. The 8 games that are coming up.
And I think the other thing too is what good does it do to sack him between now and the end of the season? I mean, short of losing the dressing room, the players, mutinying against him, or if we just go into complete free fall, lose to Fulham, lose to Everton, I don't know who we have after the Everton match. But what good does it do? Because quite frankly, everybody's got laughing.
Come on.
Oh my God. Oh, anyway, God bless you for making it through what you just said without laughing, because that was, I'm sorry. Anyway, you just stick with him till the end of the season at this point. And if the argument is you sack him to bring in a new manager, so that new manager, has the summer transfer window. Well, on the last day of the season's a Sunday. So when the game's over, and if it's that bad, sack him after the game and then go find the manager, and you have a 3-month long, roughly 3-month long transfer window to work with a new manager. So I just don't see the point in sacking him now with, 8, potentially 11 matches left in the season. If we play in the semifinal, 2-leg semifinal, and then a one-off in the Europa League final. So to me, it just doesn't make any sense to sack him. Serious questions would need to be asked if we do lose. If we go out against Slavia Prague, serious questions need to be asked. At that point, then we pretty much have to win out in the league to have any realistic shot of Europa. Champions League football is done through the league now. So if anybody's still holding, and I'm guilty of this because I was holding out hope until Liverpool. We lost to Liverpool. I said, nah, that's it, done. But the points that we've dropped in the past few weeks, West Ham, Liverpool again, Champions League through the league that's done.
And you might have said this, but I'm gonna this is how I feel. Like, I don't think we could bring in a better manager that could get us better players. Or I don't think we could bring in a man. Like, I think if we're gonna because we need an upgrade on a lot of these players, we need an upgrade on a lot of positions, and I think the manager that's gonna do it for us is Arteta. I think Arteta is gonna he speaks well. He's gonna lay his plan out. He's gonna tell you this is what he wants. And I think players are excited by him. I do think a big reason Odegaard came here was because of Arteta. I think younger players, and I think players that are going to make us better, are excited by Arteta. It's something new. It's fresh. You really don't know what you're going to get. He's going to tell you what he wants, and you're excited because you hear all these things. How he doesn't have pictures of his family on, in his house. He has just tactics and formations, and he's looking at videos, and he just has all these things. And
is that why his wife left him?
Yeah, did his wife leave him? I don't even. But no, I just think if we're gonna get upgrades on the players that we need, I think there's no one that's gonna do a better job. Is Arteta, and you're even if we got technically, if you can argue who's a better manager, who's not a better manager, but if we get technically a manager that is better than Arteta, do you think a player's going to come here like, you guys just changed managers? What if this manager fails? A player wants to come to a big club that has stability. I don't think besides like Bruno Fernandes, Man City really haven't. Man City, Man U. Because she said, so maybe I shot, maybe Pogba too, but I don't know. I just think that they're not an attractive team to go to. They Ole Gunnar's out the window. And I'll even go.
That argument's dead, man. Dude, they're good. They're good.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Whatever he's doing, and if he's literally doing nothing, he's doing it right.
Winning penalties. No. Forget the Man U thing. My point is a player is going to want to come to the club. A thing that they care about is stability. We need stability. If we bring in Rafa Benitez, we bring in a guy that's going to be the masked giant himself, Big Sam. A player's not going to be excited about that. They're not going to want to come. They're not going to want to come here. We need stability. We need someone with fresh, new ideas. And Arteta is going to have that in spades, and he's going to be able to articulate himself. But, it's going to be tough, though, because if we crash out against Slavia Prague, again, like you said, Tanner, serious questions need to be asked.
Yeah, and to your here's the thing with Arteta for me. Arteta is not can be, not will be, not has the potential. He is a good coach. And I've said this pretty much all season long. Arteta needs to trust himself, but he needs to do it with the youth. He doesn't trust himself. So what does he do? He leans very heavily on the veterans in this team that simply aren't going to cut it. So one of the big things to keep an eye on, and I don't want to really get into this too much, the transfer window business. He's not going to lose his job between now and the end of the year. He's just not. Come the transfer window. One of the things to keep an eye on in the transfer window is the age of the players that were targeted, that are targeted with us. Because if they're early to if they're early 20s to mid 20s, I would say no older than 25. That's the age profile that this team need to be looking for Mikel Arteta, because that's the age of the player that's going to buy into what he's trying to teach, what he's trying to coach. So the manager thing, I think he took that. They gave him that role too soon. I think they gave him too much.
Completely agree.
Too much responsibility. Go ahead, Stan. Sorry.
Looking at the profile that you just said, then the two names that I'm seeing being picked about scare the shit out of me, and that's Sergio Aguero and Jesse Lingard.
I don't want either one. The Lingard stuff, I don't look. Somebody said on Twitter today, if Lingard's so good, why to get loaned out? Okay, Jesse Lingard's not a terrible player. Could do worse than Jesse Lingard. I don't want him. But
listen, Lingard might sound like Odegaard, but it ain't the same.
It's not the same. But look, Lingard's had a nice little renaissance of his career at West Ham, and sometimes a change of scenery. Look, I'll tell you right now, if I'm Jesse Lingard, I want to stay at West Ham. Make that happen. Make that permanent, because that's where it's working. Don't try to change your colors again. Stay at West Ham, man. It's working there. In Arsenal, no, come on.
West Ham are not a bad team.
They're not. And look, and he's made them better. I don't necessarily like to admit that. I don't like Jesse Lingard, but he's made them better. And they have made him better. Jesse Lingard and West Ham are a match made in heaven for one another. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I got to say about that. The words of Stone Cold. In honor of WrestleMania being on.
Or maybe Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump too, yeah.
What the fuck is wrong?
Come on, man. We don't talk about Forrest Gump on this podcast. We talk about wrestling. Where have you been?
I mean, but if you say that, people are going to say Forrest Gump, not Stone Cold.
I don't know, Stan. What did you think of?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Thank you.
I thought.
Actually, Rowan, what did you think when I said it? Did you think anything at all?
Because it's got to be a Stone Cold, isn't it?
All about DJ Touchy. What?
Oh, stop.
I didn't say anything.
Anyway, Stan, you're absolutely right. If those are the two players that, I mean, look, how many players do we get linked with? Fun experiment. Let's all count the number of players that we see links to over the summer. Once the transfer window opens, let's all write down every player that we hear Arsenal linked to, and then just count them up. It's got to be 40 players.
Yeah, we've still probably been linked with like M. Villa and Julian Draxler.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're the old favourites, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they used to, but there was a time when we used to get linked to like bona fide superstars, right? Like your Benzemas and Higuain and Cavani and whoever, all of these guys. And then now we get linked to some, some Icelandic kid, some guy from Sosuna or something. Like this guy is going to be the next big thing. I think Arteta also said that it's time that we start going for bona fide superstars, and that's only going to happen if we break into the Champions League. And so, being a good coach and coaching the team is part of Arteta's responsibility, but the other part is man management. The other part is knowing how to play different teams differently, knowing what are the right players that are required for the club, knowing what are the players that need to leave, and most importantly, knowing how to get through a season without, we're all giving him a pass this time because we feel like for 2 months our players didn't perform, but he was as much part of that team, right? That horrendous run of form that we had between October and December, Arteta was just as much part of it. He just stumbled into the solution, which was the youngsters, but I don't think he did much to get us out of it. The youngsters did that, right? And we can't afford that again. We've had 2 successive seasons now. We will have 2 successive seasons in mid-table. That's embarrassing.
Rowan, make it happen. Just make it happen.
Say it 5 times fast.
Just go, man. Just go. Let's get it done here.
We're just, I don't know. I think we're not good. And again, I'm talking crazy, but Arteta does not care about the guys. I don't say he doesn't care.
We're going to find out soon. I mean, at some point, that window will open. He'll get the
put it this way: he wants different players.
Who he brings in, and
he wants different players. He wants different players, and I don't think he can. I think he cares about betting his formation in. Whoever wants to buy in, you could leave. That's cool. Because let's face it, him and Adu are in charge of pretty much everything. So it's like,
if
all right, cool.
We end up, say, bringing in, we end up one of those free deals. Do you know what I mean? We bring in Aguero on a free, but we end up giving him like a 10 million signing on fee and fucking 300 bags a week when we could have just driven up
4 years.
Yeah, for 4 years.
Celtic shelled out maybe 20 million for someone like Edouard who's got a much higher ceiling and someone that we can work with. I may just have to throw the towel in because I've said that in a perfect world, my day of judgment, when I sit down and bang the gavel down on Mikel Arteta, is the plan is October. That's my plan. And I said it from the day he started. I looked ahead and I thought of the windows and blah, blah, blah. I said around October of this year. But if he starts bringing in someone like Sergio Aguero and one of them Willian deals, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to October.
I agree.
Sergio,
what's the point of deciding in October? It either has to be before that, before the summer, or then you have to sort of stick it out until at least the winter transfer window. Right?
No, I just figured that length of time, the time frame for me. And it's similar to the time frame that I tried to give Emery. Just for me, from the time he started till around this October, I should be able to see a Mikel Arteta a team playing football and have some kind of identity. So up to now, it's been bollocks. This not have anything about it. It's been bollocks. It's been out and down, fucking left and right. But if we get to October after this window, with some new players coming in, and obviously he's supposed to be able to improve players as well, remember? He's got to make some of our current players even better. If we get to October and we've still got this kind of inconsistent thing going on, see you later, mate.
What that'll say to me is he doesn't have the motivational skills to get these players ready to go. That's what it'll be. Because the system is there. And I think we all at this point, we know the system he wants to play. We know the style he wants to play. I don't know if we're all sold on the 4-2-3-1 formation or if he's really going to work hard for the 4-3-3. How is that midfield three going to line up with the tip of the three at goal or the tip of the three with the back to our goal, if that makes sense? It's right now it's more of a motivation thing for me with Arteta than it is anything else. If he's got to trust in himself, start bringing the youth along. And I think that seeing a player like Miguel Aziz in the first team squad, even if he doesn't get a shout in a match, he's around the first team. He's getting a shirt. And Miguel Aziz, if you're watching this right now, keep the 66, my friend. That number's magical. Trust me on this. Oh, shut up. But that's Arteta's biggest problem is the motivation thing. Just doesn't seem to be able to get these players in the right frame of mind to come out of the tunnel and be ready for the first kick of the ball. That's the biggest thing to me.
I think it's because he wants these players to play positions he wants Aubameyang to play defense, chase balls. He wants some of these players to do things that they don't do. And whose fault is that then? Is that Arteta's fault for expecting a player to do something that the player doesn't want to do, or is it the player's fault for saying I don't want to do that and fuck you from wanting me to do it? Again, it comes down to Arteta forcing his tactics down these players' throat. If you don't like it, get out.
Are you getting paid to say that to the manager, or are you getting paid to do your own fucking thing and go off the script? You're paid to be part of the team, right? And if the manager is asking you to do something, well, soon you got to do it, right? And if it doesn't work, that's when you can turn around and say, "Look, this isn't working, man." But at the end of the day, they're not paid to be the manager. Managers paid to manage, players paid to play.
Wow. And mic drop right there. That's the show, ladies and gentlemen.
I
That's how it's gonna, no,
I totally meant to talk about Chelsea.
Because
But
the next round is probably never going to be.
yeah, we need stability, and it sucks because we need Arteta to stay, but we're not good, and it's tough too because let's say we bring in like our profile, we bring in the young players. Who's to say these young players aren't ready? We need to bring in the right young players. Like we need Basuma. I think.
Here's the thing, Ryan. I agree with you, but as I've been fucking beating this drum, as long as all of those players from the Wenger era are still at the club, who are the leadership players, I don't want these players like Aziz. I don't want them to be having the bad habits that they have rubbing off of them because I really think it's a problem. I really want.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to happen because there's about 7 of them, and it's going to be difficult to move 7 players on from that age group and that leadership base. But I really want, when you bring in these people like Aziz and the Suryans and perhaps the Baloguns, I mean, the Balogun training with them, but when they come more into the team, some of these young players, we bring back someone like a Ballard, for example, off of loan, and we start to try and maybe have him in there. I don't want Ballard running around with David Luiz. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I
know where you're coming from, Stan, and I get the theory behind it, but I'd wholeheartedly disagree with you there.
I know a lot of people.
David Luiz has that mistake in him, and I think anybody that would play beside him and see that mistake goes, okay, I'm smart enough to not fucking do that. You know what I mean? But there's something to be said that I mean, look, you don't ever hear a bad word about David Luiz in the dressing room, and they want him to stick around for a reason. I probably would actually, someone like a Ballard or a McGuinness, if they're going to get a run out with the first team at any point in time, if it were this year, I'd want it to be with David Luiz as their partner. I
said this last week,
but I don't even know why we gave him the contract extension.
I do get it. It's a catch-22, man. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
I know that. I may be in a minority on that, and I know everyone's sort of like about. Look, if you want to renew his contract and give him, say, maybe 60 grand a week, and he's going to be like a third or fourth choice centre back and be around with some of the knowledge. I would live with that, but that's not what's going to happen. He's going to be on the same amount of money, over 100 grand a week, and then he's going to be expected to play every week. He turns 34 in a couple of weeks' time.
It's funny. I'm so critical of him, but I said this last week, and I know you made a face, Stan, and he's been our best defender all season. I mean, we're not going to see him again, probably, or most
consistent.
I'm so glad.
Most consistent, best defender.
I think he's our best.
Because
he's our best. If you talk about all around playing ability, talk about playing defense, moving the ball, facilitating the ball to the midfielders, to the forwards, his long range passing is bar none the best out of all the center backs.
Why has he never won a Man of the Match award though? And then you think of someone like, and I'm not trying to compare like.
I guess again, I think it's most. It goes back to Tanner. Most consistent.
Gabriel's had like 3 or 4.
I've said this on multiple podcasts. I think he's I think he's been good for us. And I think he's been a great signing for the money and everything. I think he's a bit overrated by the fan base. I've
had Pablo Mari as well over David Luiz.
I think Gabriel's rash. I think Gabriel looks lost without Luiz and Tierney. And I think someone said in the chat too, and I agree. And I think Mari's a real good shout. I think he's probably, for me, he's number 2. I hate to say it.
He's right-footed, isn't he? If only he was right-footed, he'd be.
We could get them. We could get them both out there. Yeah.
I think Arteta just wants Luiz to carry out his. No, the only thing I was gonna say was I think Luiz best as a center back. He best carries out what Arteta wants him to do, and I think Saliba is going to slowly take over Luiz, and hopefully sooner rather than later.
When you talk about center halves and what Arteta is looking for out of them, it's he wants one center half to do what David Luiz does, move the ball forward, whether it be booting the ball into the midfield, booting it long to a winger.
And we saw Holding try to do that on Thursday, and he couldn't, and he was so bad.
But I think he wants one of the center halves to do that, while the other center half basically plays center field and just hangs back and just plays very defensive. Sort of, I think that's when you have two players in one position, center back. I know they're not playing the same position, but you understand the theory behind what I'm saying here. It's you want one set of skills for one of them, while the other pretty much does the exact opposite of the other. You want David Luiz to be more progressive with the ball, more offensively minded per se, and then you want his partner to be more defensively minded to sort of cover for any mistake that David Luiz might make or getting caught out of position. I think that's what Arteta is looking for as far as the center halves are concerned. Rowan, jump in here, man. Anything on the David Luiz conversation?
David Luiz, well, he's redeemed himself big time since he's been here, because I remember the rant that I had when he played against City, and couple of times actually, right? He's got the red card, he's played Sterling in, etc., etc. Since then, I'd say he's been quite solid, and I agree with what Stan's saying. As long as he's not the mainstay, right? And again, it all comes back to Arteta. Now he's what? He's almost a season and a half into his Arsenal journey, and he doesn't know what his preferred centre-back pairing is. And just think about it. Like there's so many people. He's bought in Murray. He gave him the contract. He's brought in David Luiz. He's brought in, now Gabriel is here, and who is supposed to be our best centre-back, which he brought in. He's let go of Saliba right now, who seems to be doing really well. All the time I read that he's not got beaten or dribbled across in like 700 minutes or something like that, right? So he's made all of these decisions, and we need to start holding him accountable. See, the basis of having a good team will be the centre backs, right? And as long as we don't have stability in centre backs, then you're just not gonna do anything. Again, this holding, trying to play the long ball, and that's definitely forced by Arteta, and it clearly shows that he doesn't play according to what players he has, but he has to do that, right? That Holding can't pass the ball to save his life. Leave alone those long balls that David Luiz does. Why do you want to do that and put the team under pressure? You play with the players that you have. If everybody had to play just one style, then there was no point in having him there. That's the point of having a manager, which is to know these are the players and these are the tactics that I will use with these players to get the optimum result. Sometimes I play my game, sometimes I respect the opposition and play to counter them. But Arteta doesn't seem to understand. Sometimes we go so pragmatic, sometimes we go so offensive, sometimes we have, we don't know where we're going, and we've got our handbrake on, and we're just, slogging the ball ahead like we did against Liverpool, and the ball kept coming back to us. And sometimes we just want to play the ball out from the back all the time and put ourselves under pressure. Clear communication needs to be there, and that needs to come in by the end of the season. And if I don't see it, I don't think I want to waste the summer transfer window giving him that much time, because I don't know. Stan said that he wants to give him until October, but October is too late. For me, you've got to make a decision before the summer transfer window, right?
If we bring another manager, we're fucked. Before transfer window, we are fucked. No one's going to want to come here.
Anybody like Benitez, David Moyes, Allegri, any of these guys that come in now are simply going to bring in a different style of football. That these players now all of a sudden they've got to learn another style of football, and these managers are going to come in. They're going to want a massive war chest to take into the summer that Arsenal just aren't going to give them. And they're not going to get the players that they want they're going to be stuck trying to do exactly what Arteta is trying to do right now, which is shoehorn players into a position that they don't really fit and play a role that they don't really play. You got to give them the summer transfer window, in my opinion. It might suck. It might like the growing pains are gonna hurt a little bit. But when Ryan says that Arteta's the project, he's right. The fact is that again, so I was talking with Craig from the same old Arsenal about this, and we're in a group chat. I'm in a group chat with those guys. And Vince McMahon.
Name drop.
And basically what I said was, and this is what you need to understand, and this is where being an American sort of plays to Ryan and I's advantage here, because we have American owners who own American sports franchises, and they're going to do things a certain way, and they're going to do it the way they know how to. They're going to do what they know how to do, and that's run it like it's an American franchise. Whether you agree with it or not, that's what they're going to do. And the fact is that they brought in, with the Rams in the NFL, the Avalanche in the NHL, and the Nuggets in the NBA, they're all young managers with virtually no experience whatsoever. And they're saying, okay, we want you to be around here for the long term, because at the end of the day, what KSE doesn't want to do is they don't want to do what Chelsea are doing every 2 years. They don't want to have to go through another managerial search. If there are some growing pains, okay, we're going to live with it. And it's going to suck, but we're going to hope like hell that it's that we made the right call. Look, Unai Emery was never going to be here longer than 3 years. He was the guy replacing the legend. You never want to be the guy that replaces the legend. Be the guy that replaces the guy that replaced the legend. Unai Emery, that's why it never worked for David Moyes at United. There was no way he was ever going to duplicate what Sir Alex Ferguson did. No way. And Unai Emery was never going to duplicate nor come close to what Arsene Wenger did here. They want Arteta to be here for the long haul, barring mutiny in the locker room and a legitimate relegation battle. And when I say a legitimate relegation battle, I'm talking right now. Being in a relegation battle right now, being in a relegation battle in October and November, calm down. Settle down. It's 2 months into the season. Relax. There's still 6 months left to go. You could dig yourself out of that hole. And we've done that. But that's what the Cronkies want. They want Arteta here for the long haul. Like Ryan has said before, Arteta is the project. It's just that simple. They want him to build his team. And when he builds his team, then they're going to look at it. Then they're going to look at it and they're going to say, okay, now where are we? Because once he builds his team, then the questions start to get asked. We're asking the questions of Rome before Rome was built. We as a fan base, and I want it too. Don't misunderstand me. We all want the immediate success. But, and I've had a lot of people tell me this, nope, I want immediate success now. I don't care about next year. I'll worry about next year. That's not what the Cronkies are doing. That's not how they're slow playing the shit out of this thing.
But he's had four. This is his fourth transfer window, isn't it? His fourth transfer window.
I mean, that's tough to really throw that first January transfer window in there because he had just been hired. And again, and I get the COVID happened for everybody, but okay, Arteta came in, managed. How many games did we play before the shutdown under him? How many did we play under Arteta? 6 before the shutdown. So we get shut down. He's new when we get shut down. He comes back. He has no interaction with his players. Other than over the phone, which what can you really coach over the phone or doing what we do? A truncated summer transfer window, limited funds, doesn't really get a full proper summer of training in. This window will be the window. And I'm telling you that I think we'll all have an opinion of where we are before we kick a ball for the 2021-22 season. I think we'll have an opinion after the transfer window shuts and the job that we did bringing in players and saying, okay, we can't really look back at anything now and say he doesn't have his own players.
With the quality of the players that we have in our squad right now, should we be 9th?
No, not at all. I honestly think that there are several managers in this Premier League that would have us in a higher position. I think David Moyes would have us higher up the league. And all of those things that you said earlier, Rohan, and you basically listed a lot of Mikel Arteta's failings, and in my opinion, rightly so. And the reason why you're seeing all of this is because what's unfolding in front of you is something that we don't usually get to see. Supporting a team in the Premier League, we don't usually get to see a manager on his first day on the job stumbling over hurdles and fences and having to pick himself up and dust himself down and go back and rethink what he's doing for his job and, you know, learning what's going on. We don't usually see that happening at a Premier League club, but we're seeing it unfold now in front of us. He's never done this job before. And that's exactly what the board was signing up for. And I honestly believe that the real reason that Mikel Arteta was appointed after Emery, it was all down to pounds, shilling and pence. Mikel Arteta, his salary is 5 million a year. Do you know what Unai Emery's salary was a year? It was the same. That's the ballpark. That's where we're operating in. Yeah. Let me just give you a bit more of a perspective than that. Brendan Rodgers earns 10 million a year at Leicester. That's double what we're paying Mikel Arteta. Jose Mourinho, which was another name that a lot of the Arsenal fans wanted to get in, he earns 30 million a year. If you're trying to tell me that the Cronkies have appointed Mikel Arteta because of some divine inspiration, that they've got a fucking crystal ball that they gaze in and they know what the future is, I'm not having any of it. Mikel Arteta was appointed purely because he had a connection to Arsenal and it was in the same ballpark of what the outlay would be of what they paid Emery. And Emery's a guy that's actually won shit.
Now, when you look, and I know nobody wants to hear this. I know that nobody on Stan's former side of the pond wants to hear this, but it's a fact. The Cronkies are American, and they're doing it what they've done with their other franchises. All three: Sean McVay with the Rams, Jared Bednar with the Avalanche, and it's either Michael Malone or Matthew Malone with the Denver Nuggets. Are all young, inexperienced head coaches. McVay, first head coaching job, St. Louis Rams. First year, takes them to the Super Bowl. Jared Bednar, first head coaching job, Colorado Avalanche. They're the odds-on favorite right now to win the Stanley Cup in the NHL. And unfortunately now for the Nuggets, and I don't follow the NBA that much, but arguably their best player just went down with a season-ending knee injury. They are in contention in the NBA out west. I don't know that they're necessarily, the NBA is a completely different animal. But the Cronkies brought in Mikel Arteta. I won't say that price didn't factor in. I won't say it didn't play a factor at all. I wholeheartedly believe that. But to say that it's the sole factor, no.
Let me
bring in Rafa Benitez, he's here for 3 years.
What do you think, when they appointed Mikel Arteta, what do you think it was based on then?
The fact that he comes very highly regarded from
who?
To Pep Guardiola, arguably the best manager in the world right now, and another guy that Arsenal fans will tell you,
manager, and say, you know what, he's actually fucking shit. Don't fucking hire. He was Pep's right-hand man. Of course, he's going to get a good reference from him. Of course, he is.
I mean, and if he wasn't good at what he was doing with Pep, he would have been fired, right? So clearly, Pep didn't keep him around because he's good to talk to at the pub after training, right?
I just don't see that that's a reason to give him.
But then why give anybody? But if references don't matter,
you don't take driving lessons in a Lamborghini. You just don't do it. And this is what Mikel Arteta is doing. And you know me, I said I was 50-50. I don't want a revolving door of managers. You know, I want to try and I want Mikel to succeed. But I honestly believe that the gamble that the Cronkies have played with my football club is a gamble that I'm not sure is worth fucking taking. This football club has been around for a very, very long time. And to give the helmship, the stewardship, to a man that has never outrightly managed a football club before is a fucking joke. As much as I back Mikel and I want him to succeed, and I'm in that 50-50 thing, as I said, you know, because I don't want a revolving door of managers. If you're asking me, hand on heart, whoever made this decision, they're out of their fucking minds, mate. They're absolutely out of their fucking minds. That's like asking me to be a bodyguard for Mike Tyson and having no form of combat or training. It's just ridiculous. It's like asking a guy to be the captain of an ocean liner on the launch day, and you're like, so what did you do before this? And he's like, well, I used to have a canoe.
It's not the same. It's not the same thing.
He's been an assistant manager, man. He's been doing some training stuff and that. He has never had that day-to-day. You're telling me then that.
So here we go.
When he decided that he was going to extend David Luiz's contract or bring in Willian, there was no one there to say to him, mate, why don't you take a night's sleep on this one and think it through, because that's absolute bullshit what you're doing there.
No, it's bullshit. No.
There is no sounding board. He's allowed to do what he wants. And this guy has not had the experience to have that privilege with Arsenal Football Club. I'm sorry. He doesn't.
Is it a privilege right now, Stan?
To manage Arsenal Football Club, you're damn right it is.
I mean, I would dare say that I'm going to go up to London Trident's comment here, another super chat. And thanks for listening, by the way. We appreciate that. Like I'm talking for my fucking health here. I'd love to hear the sound of my own voice, but Jesus Christ. If Arteta gets sacked, our next manager will be Maurizio Sarri. So there you go. So Maurizio Sarri, Max Allegri, Rafa Benitez.
More than 5 million.
What's that?
They said it's going to cost a lot more than 5 million.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But the fact is, look, Jose Mourinho, 30 million. And look at the job he's doing. Look at the job he's doing for them. You think he's worth it?
No way.
There you go.
No way. But he has the
rep. In the middle lies the difference.
He comes in with the rep. He comes in with the CV. They've got the big stadium. They want trophies. And Mourinho, he's at that stage in his career where it don't matter. When he got fired from Chelsea, what is it, 20 million odd he walked away with? The guy knows that if it don't work out, so what? There'll always be another job, and he's always going to get his nest feathered. And I'm kind of letting it out a little bit tonight. I just honestly believe, lads, that given this novice the stewardship of Arsenal Football Club, it's a huge fucking gamble. I thought Wenger was a gamble, but you got to remember when Wenger came in. I mean, there was no social media. We didn't have as much connection to what's happening around the world. We never knew of him, right? But at least he's managed at 5 or 6 football clubs.
Wenger had a lot of experience before he came in here. Before Wenger came to Arsenal, he had a lot of experience actually.
Exactly. This guy has sweet FA, mate, and I'm as much as I'm backing him, I'm really worried that we're going to get to October. He's going to have had that window. He's going to make some movement in the transfer market, and we're still going to see this inconsistency. Then what will it be? What will the excuses be now that the players that we bought in the window still need time to settle? You know, but because one of them might have come from the Championship up to the Premier League. He needs time. I'm just tired of hearing the excuses. We're not good enough. We've got a far better team than the one that Emery had, in my eyes. Even players like Saka, they've improved, right? They were in Emery's team, but they have improved. It's a far better team than what Emery had. And apparently, Emery was the antichrist when it came to fucking football. But you look at where we are now, right? We have a far better team, and we're in a worse position. How can that be? And how are you telling me that this is better? And
exactly, there was a stat last week, right? That Arteta managed 50 games, and in his 50 games that he has managed, he was worse than the last 50 games that Emery had managed, and then Emery was worse than the last 50 games that Wenger had managed. So, you know, and we couldn't wait to get Wenger out. We couldn't wait to get Emery out, but for some reason, and I do understand, because we're not that sort of a club, right? Like we pride ourselves in giving our managers time, and I want to give him time. I want to give him time until the end of the season. I wish that Arteta is the guy for the next 10 years, right? That he wins us trophies, he wins us leagues, he wins us the Champions League, let's say, and I want all of this to happen. But I also don't want to just, hold on to that imagination and try to, just not make a change because I'm too scared to make a change, right? Like that shouldn't be the case.
Well,
Arteta could be the project, and that's what the Kroenkes want, but that's not what I want. I don't want the manager.
Let me ask you this.
Ended with Wenger. Now
let me ask this question: If we continue to cut and paste managers every 3 years and they win nothing, and we keep hearing, well, this guy's going to be the guy, and he never turns out to be the guy, and they start upping the price a little bit, because at this point now we went to Unai Emery, didn't work, seasoned guy, Europa League, as Aussie Gooner just said, Europa League god, Unai Emery, right? Couldn't get the job done here. If Mikel Arteta can't get the job done here, well, what's the next? Now I don't need a name. But where do we go? Because we brought in an experienced manager to replace the legend, and it didn't work.
We'll be in Alan Pardew territory, mate. That's what we're
and that's what I'm. So here we are. 3 years, you win nothing. You go another 3 years with a new manager, you win nothing. Another 3 years with a new manager, you win nothing. Maybe not even 3 years, year and a half, 2 years. And you win nothing with him. You win nothing with him. And you win nothing with him. But let's say, first of all, we won the FA Cup. Whether I don't care what your feelings on it are. The FA Cup, to me, still carries weight, and we won it. And until someone else wins it, we're still the defending FA Cup holders.
Yes.
So, I mean, we won't defend it this year. We're done. I get it. But as of this moment in time, we're still the holders of that cup. 14 times, by the way. But if I said to you that Arteta might not win another trophy for the next 2 years, but gets us back into Champions League, and somewhere in the next 5 years from this moment, not from last year, but 5 years starting next season, we win the Champions League, would you sign up for it, or do you still want the revolving door of managers? Because the Kroenkes
don't. But can you guarantee that is going to happen?
No, I can't guarantee it, but you can't guarantee that a new manager comes in and does any better.
Yeah, but the only thing that you could do, is try to.
But they are trying.
I don't think it's logical to stick to the same thing and expect different results, right? Like,
but
if Arteta is not working out, he's just not working out.
But they're not sticking with the same thing. That's the point. They're not sticking with the same thing. Sticking with the same thing to me would be not making many changes within the team, not selling any of the dead wood back in January that we got rid of, moving on more players in the summer, bringing in more new players, hopefully integrating some of the youth into the squad. I've said before that the biggest problem the club has had, this isn't a Mikel Arteta problem, this is an Arsenal problem, is for 15 years, we've been stuck in the, do we spend big money or do we go youth? And we haven't even gone 50% down either path. It's been 35% down the money path, and it's been 40% down the youth path. The club itself can't figure out, what do we want to do here? Do we want to be Manchester City and just throw money at everything? Or do we want to try to do it, to me, the right way and bring through the youth and play those and get those players up and running? Ryan, you've been quiet for a while. I don't really want to let this go much longer, because if I do, he's going to talk for the next 45 minutes. So jump in here. I kind of feel like it's a top versus a bottom right now. Like, I feel like Ryan and I are on the same page and standing row.
Whoa. Easy. No, I'm kidding. I'm just confused because since we left.
Hang on, Ryan, hang on. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. London Trident, do me a favor. We appreciate the super chats, man. We really do. Link in the description. Please take that money, donate it to Tony Turner. Please, we really want it to go to the GoFundMe that's in the. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. But please,
I'll buy a Big Mac.
Just in case you don't know London Trident, Tony needs a new leg, man. It's that serious.
Yeah, we're serious about this.
So get him up and about.
So and again, we appreciate the sentiment. Thank you very much. Please don't misunderstand me. We really do appreciate it. Either way, we will still have the Cronkies. What's the point of keep changing manager? Cronky outboard out. Simple. Arsenal need a super war chest. Well, you know what? I just London tried and again. Thank you. But I just get so sick of hearing this. Like I really like it. You know what? Just Cronky. Just he needs to sell. Just sell. Just Cronky sell. Cronky. Stan Kroenke isn't going to sell this football club. Get it out of your heads. It's not going to happen. If I don't say it quietly, I'm going to scream it. Stop with this.
Please don't.
If you had a business that was making you hundreds of millions of dollars a year, would you sell it?
Not to mention a big prime piece of real estate in London.
Right.
That's what it's all about, right?
It's just not going to happen. I'm not saying he's the best owner in the world. And I'm not saying I wouldn't like him to sell to somebody that would do better. But we have no guarantees that the Nigerian oil king is going to do anything differently than Kroenke's done. And understand something here. This is the other thing with Kroenke. People talk about money that Kroenke hasn't put into the club. Stan Kroenke is responsible for the best bit of business that this club did in the last 2 decades. Because I promise you, if he wouldn't have done it, I don't know that it would have happened, and it needed to happen. And for a club as big as Arsenal, that fucking stadium got built because of Stan Kroenke. Don't anybody argue with me. Stan Kroenke was brought into this football club to do one thing, and that was build that fucking stadium. And if we were still playing at Highbury in a 35,000 seat stadium, maybe 40 at best, we would be
empty. It would still be empty like the 70,000 one that we got now.
At this point, yeah. Yep.
So,
exactly. Well, yeah. I didn't even get the reference at first. But everybody, you look at Stan Kroenke leveraging Arsenal to go build the St. Louis Rams or the LA Rams stadium. Okay. Stan Kroenke ponied up as much for that stadium as he did for the Emirates. Trust me, that money's coming from other areas. But Stan Kroenke was brought in here to get that stadium built, and that's what he did. And I see you, Mike. Stadium was planned. Well, listen, I have the best laid plans in the fucking world. Doesn't mean they're going to happen. So I get it. But Kroenke was brought in, and it was Kroenke's money that got that stadium built. So. And if he didn't build the stadium, we'd be bitching about not playing in a bigger stadium.
I thought it was a German bank, but okay.
So Stan Kroenke bought into a football club for no reason whatsoever. What did David Dean bring him in for? Because David Dean's the one that introduced him. So what did he bring him in for?
He brought him in so that he could walk off with 72 million in his trouser pocket when he cashed his shares in. David Dean's got a lot to answer for. You do not bring in 2 people to do a board takeover. He brought in Kroenke and he brought in Asimov. Biggest schoolboy error that you do if you're on the board of a company. He's the one that left us in turmoil. As much as David Dean done for Arsenal, I honestly believe that if you're of the camp where you have got a problem with the Kroenkes and that part of the thing, your biggest enemy should be David Dean. I'll have it both ways.
Real talk, man. Real talk.
Cashed his shares in and walked away with about 75 million in his pocket. So that if you want to say, well, David Dean really loved the club, he loved 75 million pounds more than he loved Arsenal because that's what he walked away with. End of story.
So I feel like I could have this argument all night because it's fun. It's fun to debate. You know, we have fun with this stuff here, and nice thing is we never take it too personally. You know, we have a good time. We disagree. But Lone Star Londoner, don't we have our biggest game of the season on Thursday? And we do. Any last thoughts? Does anybody have anything else to say on this topic with Kroenke and all that and Arteta? Ryan, I didn't really give you a chance, and I apologize for that because I did cut you off.
I didn't even say anything.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Ryan, have your say now. Go ahead.
No,
You're right. You said, Ryan, you've been quiet for some time, and then this.
and then I wanted him to talk, and then I cut him off.
Yeah, fantastic.
Hey, Stan, guess what?
Yeah.
Ryan, go ahead. Seriously.
No,
No, but wait a minute. No, I'm kidding.
I honestly don't even. I had like this whole perfect
Arteta
perfect argument, and now the only thing I have to say, and I see where Stan is coming from, and I understand what he's saying. I would like to politely disagree, and and I guess Samir Rohan too, politely, of course. But my whole thing is, where is this? Where are all these Premier League titles? Where are all these accolades? I get FA Cups, cool, that's awesome. Where are all these things that we've done since Highbury is no more? Since we went to the Emirates, we haven't had any really. FA Cup here, there, kind of just a potato chip here, potato chip there, and we really haven't had success. And I think again, I agree with Tanner just because I guess I'm an American, and we've seen clubs in American sports go through rebuilds, and it's always going to get worse before it gets better. And we've tried. I think Arsenal as a football club, since we left Highbury, we tried so hard to not have that, to not have it's going to get worse before it gets better. We've had just the top four is a trophy for right now, but next season we're going to do something. And next season comes, we got top four. So next season we're going to do something. Yeah, maybe an FA Cup. We got FA Cup, top four, Champions League. At some point you kind of have to put your foot on the gas and really drive fast, because the Premier League teams around us are getting better. Burnley's are not walkthroughs. Villa is not an easy game. You
got to watch out for Wolves on a good day, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could say it's because we're getting worse. I don't buy that. I think the teams around us are getting better, and a lot of
right. Like there used to be a time when we used to beat teams like Prague 7-0, and I'm not talking about the days when we used to win the Premier League. This was in the last decade. We used to beat them 7-0. And now we're talking about it's a difficult game. We just drew 1-1 with them. And
Ray just brought up a really good point. And he says, don't be snobby about forfeit cups. Many clubs don't win trophies. But now, we don't want to be snobby because we won forfeit cups, but yet we want action. We want something now. Forfeit cups are great, but if you're a Big Six club, if you're a club that's the 8th most valuable club in the world, you want more than 4 FA Cups, Ray. I'm sorry. We want more. I want to be contending in the Champions League. I want to win the Premier League, and since we made big moves, we have to make big moves as far as, whether it's be players, managers. And I think when it comes down to it, you're going to need to make a big gamble as a manager. And I think we have to go through this. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think we went down that road where we're like, no. We're Arsenal Football Club. It's not going to get worse. We're just going to kind of paper cracks, and we're going to kind of add players here and there, and we're going to slowly work our way up. We're going to almost like procrastinate. We're going to top 4 trophy, move on. Top 4 trophy, move on. Oh, maybe an FA Cup. We can't do that. We need to make big moves. We need to make big gambles. I believe when we signed Arteta, I maybe it had a little to do with money, but I think he comes from a good background in Pep and a good background in a Premier League champion in Man City, and he had a big part in that, and I will fight tooth and nail for that, because he did. And players that have played and play for Man City have also said that. So we got to take a big risk, and we went so far down the line as far as we got top 4 next season. We got top 4 an FA Cup next season. That it's going to hurt a lot more than it would have had we made this gamble, had we made this rebuild. We put it up for so long, and it's hurting way more than it should. I completely agree. Shouldn't be where we are. We have players that I think should be better. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and we have to deal with this. And this is our own doing. This is the club's doing. We're trying to take shortcuts through this rebuild, and we didn't. Forfeit Cup's great, Ray. We're a Big Six club. We're also a football club. Like you guys say, you want action now. You want moves now. You don't want this. FA Cups for Arsenal Football Club should not be enough, and we need to be better in the long haul. And we cannot take this for granted, because if we do, then what? top 4 is a trophy. You guys want that? Do you guys consider top 4 a trophy? Because I don't.
So I want it. One Star London is like, God, this is depressing.
Yeah, it is. But it's true though. Like, we need to make big gambles. We need to make big moves, and you guys gotta wait. And it's tough because I don't like seeing my club like this. But again, this goes from years and years of we got top 4 next season. Yeah, top 4 next season. Just keep putting off. We make, and I keep bringing this up. We make signings like Lichtensteiner, Petr Cech, Dennis Suarez on loan, Lucas Perez. Like, we make these signings like, oh, we need a striker. Yeah, let's get Lucas Perez. He maybe, yeah. Oh, we need a goalie. Let's get Petr Cech. He's a Chelsea reject. No big deal. He has a headgear. He has headgear on, so he's unique. And
he's cool.
Yeah, he's cool. And it's just, and I get the sentiment, and I get it. You guys want to win now, and you guys want to do big things. But we haven't been winning. We haven't been doing anything. FA Cups are nice, but I want more. I want more from this club. And, do I think Arteta is the answer? Do I think Arteta is going to win those things for us? I don't know just yet, but I want to take the gamble, and I'm willing to go down that road because, what we tried so hard, and I wouldn't even say that we didn't try so hard. What we tried to do in the previous regimes and the previous transfer windows didn't work. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and that point, just real quick, back to Rohan saying, doing the same thing. We persist with Arteta doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, isn't that what we've been doing for the past 15, 16 years?
And it wasn't good enough, right?
Right.
It wasn't good enough.
So again, and all I'll say is, again, we had Arsene Wenger, who we let stick around for too long, by about 5 years. The game had passed him by. That happens. The game passed him by. You could say, oh, but look what he did with those teams. Right. And that's great. He
top 4 is not a trophy. I think
right. That's not a trophy. Right. I mean, and trust me, when we get it, we're going to act like it is. You bet your ass.
Well, yeah, we've been out for so long. Of course we're going to.
But we've persisted with this old dog manager mentality. And I saw somebody earlier in the comments say the young manager route basically doesn't work in football. How do we know? Julian Nagelsmann is he's younger than Arteta, I believe. And look at what he's doing at Leipzig. So don't tell me that the young manager in football doesn't work. You just have a manager you just need a manager that believes in himself and trusts his own process. And right now, I've said it before, I think that's Arteta's biggest problem. But you keep chopping and pasting managers every 2 years, and you're going to get the same dire results with the occasional FA Cup because we stumbled into it, playing a system that the current manager doesn't want to play. He's playing it because it's the players that he has. That's what fits them the best. I'm over it. I'm willing. I know everybody else isn't, but I'm willing to just suck it up and deal with a couple of shit seasons to get to where we want to be. Hopefully. So,
and to be fair, I think the only thing I was going to say really quick, Rohan, and to be fair, I think this is why we're on the side we're on, Tanner, is because we've experienced this like our entire childhood, watching American sports. And to you guys, like, you guys don't have that, I guess, what's sort of for novelty or the caveat, I guess. We've seen teams of ours, like teams that we care about, maybe not as much as Arsenal, but teams we care about go through, like, to any, I hate bringing up American sports, but to any hockey fans, I'm a big Islander fan. We won the Stanley Cup like every year in like the 80s. Like it was insane.
Okay, relax. It wasn't every year in the
Yeah, I know. It's just like the president. But then we went through it. We went through like a depression, so to speak. And we literally were like one of the worst teams in the league year after year. And yeah, our rebuild probably took a little longer, kind of like Arsenal. Now we're one of the best teams in the league. We moved really well. We moved far in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So, I think it's just our experiences that make us this way, and it's why I agree with Stan. I understand where he's coming from, and it's just to me, the only thing I can say stand is I just have a different experience. So like
that's exactly what it is.
But American sport is completely different to the Premier League. I mean, first is the draft system that exists in American sports, and
there's no guarantee there either.
And there's but there's a leveler, right? There's a leveler. There's a salary cap, something again that is a leveler. But it's not there in the Premier League. The Premier League is about money. It's the money league. There's plenty of money in there, and if you aren't willing to spend that money or have some sort of experience to take you through that, then you're gonna get found out. Fenway Sports has not spent crazy amounts of money on Liverpool. They've invested correctly, but they brought in Jurgen Klopp, who was an experienced manager, won the league with Dortmund a couple of times, reached the Champions League final. All of that worked, and then that's what paid off for him. See, you can't just compare American sports to the Premier League, because the Premier League is a different animal altogether.
I understand that, but what I'm comparing is the ownership.
And it just, so again, I'm not gonna sit here and clap them for their stupidity of trying to compare American sports and the Premier League, because they're just not the same, right? Like, and the sooner they understand that,
they're not the same. They're not the same to us, Rohan. They're not the same to us. To them, it's no different. You know what it is? It's a business. It's a business.
Okay, sure. Then for them, if it's just a business, in my opinion, they aren't even running the business really well, actually. Because if you've seen, LeBron James sold 2% of his shares in Liverpool. When he bought them, it was worth 6 million. When he sold them, it was worth 43 million. If they were good businessmen, they would invest in the success of Arsenal, so that is how your share prices is going to grow. How much has Liverpool grown over the last few years? And that's all through the success on the field. But we have lost a generation of fans. We don't, like any new person. Why should a kid be an Arsenal fan? What is it that we're giving to them? And like I said, I ended my allegiance with managers once Wenger was gone, because all of this that you're trying to say that that is not good enough, like the top four, FA Cups, etc., being competitive until March, February, April, whatever. We were doing that with Wenger. That wasn't good enough. So now why are we just like all of a sudden we're like, no, we need to give him time. I would give him as much time as I can, but I want to see progression. With this team, I feel we should have been in a better position. Either we're saying that this position that we're in, 9th, is not Arteta's fault. It is somebody else's fault. It is the team's fault.
It's everybody involved's fault.
So he's the one who has to take the blame, right? Because he's the one who's handing out these contracts.
He has to take the blame because he's the easiest one to fire.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And
you can't fire 25 guys. You can't fire the owner.
No. So who has signed Willian? Who has signed Luiz?
The club signed him. The club signed him
on his recommendation, right?
And Willian.
Rohan, we've been over this. Nobody knew Willian was going to be this bad. That's such a stupid. That's the stupidest fucking argument. That's such a dumb argument. He was their best player last season.
Willian is one, but even Willian, he's the one who's giving out contracts to Rob Holding. He's the one who's giving out.
He's not been bad this season. Rob Holding's not been bad this season. Cedric is a vital part of our defense. You're completely
and you need depth. And Rob Holding in a perfect world with this Arsenal club is depth, and that's why he got the contract. Because I will say this, I don't think I haven't seen enough of Saliba to say for sure. Although I did read a great article, by the way. If anybody has a subscription to The Athletic, Amy Lawrence wrote an article last night about William Saliba and his time at Nice, and especially recently. If you have a subscription, first of all, I'm gonna. Free advertising, Athletic. Hey, Rossi, if you see this, free advertising for you. Pass that on to your superiors. The Athletic's fantastic, by the way. Amy Lawrence, David Ornstein, James McNicholas are the Arsenal reporters. Fantastic. They do brilliant stuff. And I don't know that there's, other than Fab Romano, probably no journalists out there I trust more than those four. Fabrizio Romano does not work for the Athletic, but it's cheap. Go get the subscription to the Athletic, because Amy Lawrence wrote a great article about William Saliba. I haven't seen enough of him to make my own opinion about him. But I would like to see another center back brought in to pair with Gabriel.
Why did we pay 27 million for him?
Well, I mean, I'm saying right now, having not seen enough of him.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there must be a reason why you would pay 27 million for a prospect.
Since the Invincible season, this club have done nothing but make bad financial decision and bad personnel decision after bad financial and personnel decision. And as great as that Invincible team was, guess what they didn't do? And I'm not trying to knock them. I mean, I love it, but that team didn't win Champions League. So
we were robbed.
But we didn't.
No.
You know.
And talk about our Champions League final game, please.
What's that?
I said, let's not please talk about our Champions League final game.
Yeah, I know. But
I've never watched it since.
It's poor financial decisions in terms of selling players, buying players, and the players that are being sold and or bought. It's just been poor all the way around. The Kroenkes, you can say, have been absent, and they have been, but the Kroenkes also don't know football. So do you really want them involved that much in the day-to-day operation? You say, well, they're American, they don't understand the sport. But then you say, but they're absent. Well, which is it? Do you want them to be here and making decisions on something you don't think they know anything about, or stay away? You don't know what you're doing, so hire people to put in place that hopefully know what they're doing.
I don't understand why people think that we need to have the Kroenkes turning up at every fucking game, sat in the director's box, sat there.
Because what they see, Stan, is they see them doing it. Here's the thing.
No need.
And I am by far, no offense to Ryan or Mike in the chat, I'm by far so much bigger hockey fan than either of the two of you. I know
you are. Yeah. No, I give you credit. You are. Yeah.
I watched the Avalanche. I actually, they're probably my second favorite team, not because of the Kroenkes. They have been since they moved from Quebec. But Stan and Josh aren't at their games. Stan and Josh aren't at the Nuggets games. They play in the same building. Are they at the Rams games? Yeah, it's once a week, and it's LA. And I dare say Stan is at most of those games. But you know the games that Stan isn't at for the Rams? He's not at the away games. He's not there. He's at the home games. He's spending time on his massive fucking ranch in Texas. That's what he's doing. But yeah, to Stan's point, they don't know football. So what's the point in them being around?
Have you never worked for a company where you've never met the owner? I've worked at fucking loads of them, mate. I worked for one company that had 80 offices. He had 80 offices worldwide. I never fucking met the owner. The fuck? Who gives a fuck? I mean, you can say that. You can say, oh, well, Roman Abramovich has a presence, but is there anybody here who has ever heard a fucking word come out of his mouth? I don't even, you know me, I love doing impressions of people or trying to, right? I couldn't do, here's my impression of Roman Abramovich.
I knew that was coming.
Did you like it? Did you like it?
I heard him talk. I can't tell
you.
Mate,
close your eyes. It's like he walked in the room. That's how fucking good my impression is of Roman, right? I'm telling you, bang on, right? It gives a fuck. I mean, I would give a fuck, right, if we had a manager that never turned up and showed his face and he never opened his wallet. Again, controversial take, because I do believe that the Kroenkes have never. We're not like fucking Oliver Twist, mate, at the orphanage with a fucking bowl saying, please, sir, can we have some more? It doesn't fucking happen, right? Yet there is a certain section, and it's quite large, that would be like, the fucking Kroenkes are the problem. They don't back us in the market. We're a self-sustaining model, but we still always manage to get what we want. We didn't pay. We didn't drive over to France and fucking with a briefcase of 72 million for Nicolas Pepe. We got the player, but we got it at a price and a way of paying for it that worked within the way that we do things.
Oh, Stan, this is Stan. This is a good one. You ready? Oh, whoops. Sorry. God damn this thing. Guys are putting up comments too fast. There you go.
Exactly.
Showing up constantly. Mike Ashley. How's that?
Exactly.
How's that going?
I bet you the fucking Newcastle fans fucking wanting never to come to another game, right? So I don't understand why we have to have Big Daddy sat up there overwatching everything. It doesn't work like that, you know.
There's another good point. Sorry, Stan.
Yeah. So it doesn't. Exactly. It's more of their portfolio. I'm more important of the people that they've got in place to run this branch of the business, if you like. You know, if you look at it as they've got branches, right? I'm more interested in our fucking branch manager, and that's Mikel Arteta.
Yeah. And that's Edu.
And as well, Edu. And I know we're digressing a little bit, but for me, I saw a lot of people really talking about Edu. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man, but as far as I'm concerned, he's still stained with Raul Signelli for me. Big time. Yeah. Big fucking time. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens in this transfer market. And I will take some deflection away from Edu. For those people that say that Willian and David Luiz was Edu pushing that through, Mikel signed off on it. Fucking Edu didn't get fucking Mikel in a fucking chicken wing crossface and make him tap out. It was the other way around. I think Edu was trying to like just do Mikel's bidding. So, you know, much ado about nothing. I saw someone put on Twitter the other day, which made me chuckle. It's going to be so interesting to see the wheeling dealing that goes on this summer.
Yeah, this is a conversation that we really could. I feel like we're at 2 hours right now. We could go for another hour with this conversation. This is all I'm going to say. If I'm running the team, this is just me. If I'm running the team, I rebuild the recruiting department, the scouting department. Number one, I don't know how you run a professional sports franchise. I don't know how you run any sort of athletic team without some sort of scouting, unless you're Pop Warner football and the kids just sign up and pay $25 to play. Other than that, you're out recruiting. Colleges here in America are out recruiting high school kids to play, whatever sport it might be. You know, that's and then professional sports franchises or clubs should be out scouting other teams' players to see, hey, does this player fit a role for us? So no scouting department, number one. That's a problem. Bring the scouting department back. Mikel Arteta as the head coach, comes up with a tactical system and a formation. That has to trickle down to the academy. They need, as long as Mikel Arteta, whoever the coach is, they need to be playing that coach's style. End of. They need to be playing that coach's style so that when they get their call up, they're ready for it. It's not a shock to the system when they've been playing who knows what at the academy level, and then all of a sudden get to the big level and they're like, I haven't done this ever. I don't like it. It's like, okay, you played goalkeeper in the U23s and now we're going to make you a right winger. Wait, huh? What? Am I allowed to use my hands in that position? No, fuck me. You know, like there's a whole system in this club for too long. It's like throwing excrement at the wall. And believe me, they've thrown a lot and not enough of it has stuck. That's what this club is. There's a whole system that just is not in place. And that's not Arteta's fault. And it's not Edu's fault. It's Ivan Gazidis' fault. And it's Arsene Wenger's fault. End of.
If you could take out someone like Edu and put in Mark Overmars, and if you could take out someone like Vinay and put in someone like David O'Leary, I think that we'd have a better kind of a structure.
See,
Edu wants to do some bullshit, mad professor stuff like bringing in Willian or extending David Luiz. He'd have a couple of people there that would be able to say, let's just rein this in a little bit before we fucking pull the trigger on this. Go home, have a fucking Horlicks, have some sleep, come back, let's talk in the morning. You're going to feel differently about this. But there's no one doing that. I don't believe Steve Round does stuff like that. I don't believe that Vinay, he probably just smiles.
I don't think Vinay has actually. I actually don't think Vinay has any say in personnel.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
He shouldn't.
But there should be someone in there who has football knowledge who can be not interfering, but be a bit of a sounding board.
Well, so if I were Stan Kroenke, this is what I would do. Mark Overmars is a great shout. Mark Overmars is my general manager. Mark Overmars is the guy where the buck stops. The buck stops with him. He's the guy that's going to sign off on the decisions, personnel-wise. I'd leave Edu as the assistant GM. He's the guy that gets the scouting reports. He goes to Mark Overmars, and they put their brains together, and they figure out what's the best move for the club. But Edu's also the guy that's going to go to the academy, and he's also the guy that's going to go to Mikel Arteta and say, okay, what do we have in the academy? What does Mikel Arteta want? What are the what positions does he want to fill? And what traits in those positions is he looking for? And then send that information out to my scouting department and say, these are the players, these are the positions we're looking for. These are the traits we're looking for in said positions. Send us your reports. And then Edu sits down with Mikel Arteta and whoever's leading the academy, and we say, here's what we've got. What do we have in the academy? What do we have in the scouting reports? And then Mikel Arteta goes through and he looks at it. And he makes a recommendation to Edu. Edu then sits down with Mark Overmars, and obviously this is hypothetical, sits down with Mark Overmars. They come up with the decision, okay, go back to Mikel Arteta and say, this is the player that we're going to try. This is the player we're going to go after in this position. Now, and Mikel Arteta should have some input in that conversation as well. If Mikel Arteta says, you know what, but I like this guy better. Now what it comes down to is, okay, money becomes a factor. Which player is more expensive? Which player is older? Which player has played a similar system or a more similar system to what Arteta's trying? It's a whole thing that goes into this that Arsene Wenger just never wanted. It was his show. His show. He knew best. That's and the world of professional sports it's not like that anymore. It's just not like that anymore. You know, you need to have different opinions. As I've been saying now for weeks, a room full of yes men have never accomplished anything. You need to have differing opinions, but we don't have that. And we've never really had that at this football club. Think about it. Arsene Wenger, nobody would dare say no to him. Eventually we got to a point where nobody would dare say no to him, right? Unai Emery didn't have any influence whatsoever because at that point it was Ivan Gazidis' show. Then Ivan left, it became Raul's show. Sven Mislintat tried to come in and have his influence. And boy, they couldn't wait to throw him under the bus. And then Raul leaves, and now we have Arteta and Edu. And I still don't like the system, but it is what it is at this point. And it doesn't seem like it's going to change. So, I wanted to do lineup predictions for Thursday. You guys in for a little bit longer, or do we got?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to read Stay Fresh's super chat and answer.
You know what? Let me bring this back up because you were like over there. You're like Rocky Balboa in Apollo Creed's basement, getting warmed up. So let me find it here. Let me bring it back up real quick. And it's like you want to ring the bell, Stallion? Ding, ding.
Ding. Ding.
There it is. Yep. All right. So here we go. You want to ring the? All right, Ryan. You want to ring the bell, Stallion? Really? Stan and I just gave it to you.
Well, I'm like the boxer. I'm like the boxer in the ring. So you guys would ring the bell. I would ring the bell.
He's never seen clearly, Stan. He's never seen Rocky 3 or Rocky 4.
No. If he dies, he dies.
Ooh, the Russian guy. Yeah, he's got plenty. Yeah. Stay fresh. Thank you for the chat. Even though you should have done it, Tony. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. Nonsense, Ryan. Many Arsenal fans knew Willian, especially off of what Chelsea offered him, was not what we wanted. That's an easy mistake to have seen.
Well, wait. What we needed. Correction.
I said
what we needed. Yeah.
Right. So my response to that is we and I agree. I think I was kind of in that fan base. I didn't want Willian for 3 years. He's definitely a player on the decline. But let's not get this twisted. He was their best player last season. You can maybe make an argument for Pulisic, but he was second in goals. He led the team in assists. He was their free kick taker. He was a vital part of that team.
But he's fucking Chelsea.
A team, no, and I agree. And to be fair, I didn't agree with that signing, and I said this when we signed him, or when we were like gonna sign him. I said I didn't like him as a first signing. I wanted him more like a last signing to kind of put the ribbon on the present. But yeah, I mean, Chelsea are a team that right now are a better team than we are. They are higher up in the standings. They are making moves. They've had 2 managers since Willian, or maybe 3. I can't count, but he was their best player, second best player. And argue all you want. We could have used him on our team. Now, no one would have thought he would have fell off. And I think the reason why people are arguing over his contract was because we didn't want him for 3 years. Because, yeah, in the 3rd year, he was going to be a shit stain, which, yeah, 3 years came a little early. So, you're talking nonsense.
But it's the thing, though, right? When Willian was coming in, this is what we were sold on. We're going to have a guy coming in who's going to hit the ground running. He's fucking oven ready. There's none of this settling bullshit. He's just getting a bus across London, right? And after about 2 months, right, when he started getting slaughtered by every quarter, they then came out and said, "Well, you didn't think he'd have to settle? Stupid you." And I'm like, hold on a minute. I've got a memory. I remember what you said 2 months ago. You can't spin us that. And now we're fucking pulling you on it. You're trying to now spin the other narrative, right? Because at the end of the day, he did only come from Chelsea. And if Willian is in the starting lineup on Thursday, it's all over Rover. No fucking ifs or buts, mate.
Yeah, he can't listen.
Curtain.
Where we are right now, he can't be starting for us.
Curtain.
Yeah. It's something that, he flew off a cliff is an understatement in what happened to him. And I think
the package works out to £32 million, right? Over them 3 years. What in the actual fuck is all of that about, man?
And again, it goes back to my argument or my statement about us rebuilding as a club. Willian is the type of player in the previous regimes we would buy. We'll buy Willian. He's one of the best players at one of our rival clubs.
Have we done nothing after William Gallas? That's all. You know what I mean? We've done this with William Gallas. It's a dick move bringing in these Chelsea fucking rejects. Don't want no more of them. Don't want any Man United rejects. I want our own players, man. I don't want.
Again,
turn up and on the first day we give them like this little package and it's got like this little white fluffy dressing gown, some fucking slippers that match, and one of them eye shade of things. And they're just like on their lounge. I'm fucking sick of it.
I agree 100% what you're saying, but he was their best player last season, and they're a better club than we are. So to us, on paper, that's an upgrade. Do I agree with it? Did I want the signing? No, I did not. And in 3 years, us giving him an extra year brought us here. No, yeah, that's stupid. But you can't argue like, oh, what are we doing? Like, see, he was. This no one saw this coming. Stop it right now. Oh, it's bad dog. But yes,
stop whining, Stan. I can't help it.
Can we please talk about our winning 11 on Thursday?
Yeah, let's get, because we're going to spend some time on this as well. But by the way, just want to recognize all 60 of you that are still currently watching live with us, because we are over 2 hours. And you guys are all still going strong. So thank you very much for that. So because of that, is everybody still good? Ryan, you good to keep going?
Let's fucking do this, boys.
Stan's good. Rowan, you all right to hang in for a little longer here? So I'll tell you what, let's not drag it out. Okay. But we'll go through we'll go through the positions and give me your starter, and we will see where we end up. And I will, on my handy dandy notepad here, I will write this all down.
No! What formation are we doing? 4-2-3-1.
You know what? I am going to go. I would say 4-2-3-1 simply because that seems to be
3 at the back. I mean, he fucking knows, right? With this guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, who knows? He may dress 8 players for all we know and just be like, "Fuck it, go run around and see what happens." Yeah. Start with goalkeeper. We'll work our way out from the back as he likes to do. Anybody starting Matt Ryan over Bernd Leno on Thursday?
No.
So Leno is unanimous. Let's go right to left across the back. So Ryan, give me your right back.
I think the profile we need is Bellerin, but I think Chambers is a better player. Chambers didn't have the best game against Sheffield, but I think he's more solid in the back, and I think we kind of need to learn as to what we did against Sheffield. So I'm going Chambers here.
Stan, right back.
Hector Bellerin. I mean, if he's supposed to be the best right back at the club,
He's
to me,
not.
it should be a sink or swing game. And depending on how he does in that game is when I would bring the gavel down on him. But it's a game that I think it's just so risky. I'm going to go with Hector Bellerin.
Rowan,
The one thing I will say also too, why I picked Chambers, I don't want to reveal who I'm picking as my wingers, but the reason I'm not picking Bellerin is because of who is in front of him.
So that makes it pretty obvious then.
That's a good point.
Rowan, you want to go?
I'd place Chambers actually because Bellerin hasn't been playing that much. He didn't feature in like 5 or 6 games before this. I'm not really sure whether he's going to be up for it. I think
you're going Chambers. You said it right back.
Yeah. I think Bellerin's already gone now. I don't think
nobody picked Cedric to play right back. Interesting. So we'll see if anybody picks Cedric to play left back. Who is your right center back? We'll snake it. So Rowan, I'll start with you, right center back. Stan, you're always going second.
Holding.
If I snake it, you're always going
pairing.
second.
We can give the pairing.
You want to do the pairing? Fair. Let's.
For me, it's Holding and Gabriel have got to stay. Although I don't know why Mari doesn't play enough. Like maybe it's because like he's also lefty and he wants to take right and left. Maybe that's the reason why. I wouldn't change it in this game. So for this game, it'll be Holding and Gabriel. But generally, I would have said that Gabriel and Maria is the right pick for the team.
Stan, center back pairing.
I'm going to go with what Rohan said. I think I would go with Gabriel and Holding, just because they seem to have played a lot of games together. And I don't think that I think this is a game that if players are looking for a partnership, I want to put the players in there that have had a lot of experience playing next to each other. But can I just go back a little bit? I'm so 50-50 on Hector Bellerin and Chambers at right back, but let's move on.
You know what? I'll make a note. You're 50.
I'm really 50-50 on that.
I'll make a note on it. Who's the other one? So if not Bellerin, who would it be for you?
Chambers.
Chambers, yeah.
Chambers. Okay. So not Cedric. Ryan, who are your what's your center back pairing?
I would say I'm 50-50 on I would say 50-50. I would probably say 60-40 on Holding Marie. But I would choose Gabrielle and Mari.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to do the 2 left-footed thing, huh?
I don't.
For the first game to be a partnership?
I don't care.
An important game. I've never done it before.
They're the 2 center backs that best suit at what we're going to do to win. Granted, I would not be upset.
Would you not want to see them have a warm-up game first before such a big important game?
I can't believe I'm saying this. It's the most important game. Slavia Prague suck. We should be.
A hard one to put them in. Right?
Again, I would not be upset if Holding plays. Holding Gabrielle would be fine. We definitely, based on what we want to do. Good night, Gary. Love you. But yeah, I think Gabrielle has to start, and it's funny because I was just talking about how I overrate him, but I think he is what we need to beat Slavia Prague. And I just prefer Mari over Holding. So the reason why I picked Mari and Gabrielle. But again, if we're picking partnerships, Holding and Gabrielle are fine by me.
Couple of Holding and Pablo Marie comments here in the chat. So, Ryan, who's your left back?
Are we talking if everyone's fit or as it
is right? Yeah, I mean, Kieran Tierney's not available for selection, so
is Taka available for selection?
Yeah, as far as I know, I haven't heard that he's not. So I would say yeah. The ones who are out, I think Emile Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, Kieran Tierney, Gavin Luiz. They're the 4 that are definite outs.
I heard they're down. I heard they're still waiting on fitness specimen.
Wait, who?
I heard Odegaard and Smith-Rowe are not out yet. I heard that they took.
Oh, well, all right. If you okay, then factor them in, I guess, if you want.
I kind of know. It's more fucking indecisiveness by me. I don't want that. Yeah, I'm actually gonna pick Shaka. Oh, I just said it. Gary, I hope you left. Gary, I hope you left. Gary, please, I hope you left. I'm so sorry. Gary, no.
Stan, left back.
Kloshnak. I'm recalling him.
Oh, stop.
It's an emergency.
Stan,
well
Stan,
done.
you give me a heart attack. I'm gonna have a heart
Well
attack.
done.
I'm on the blower to Kloshnak, man. You need
That was good.
First heart attack on an Arsenal podcast.
You know what? If we're going to kind of play that flow the way that we did in that last game against Sheffield United, and we're going to keep to that model of playing, then I'm with Ryan and put fucking Granit Xhaka, who eats dirty biscuits, in at left back.
Rowan?
We'll lead with I want Saka on the left side, and I need.
You said Saka, right? Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
At left back.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because we need the width. And Xhaka needs to play in midfield. He needs to play.
Stop. No.
He needs to play in midfield.
So you're putting Xhaka in the midfield then, because I'm going to get into. I just have what I have is two midfielders. Then I have a right wing, a 10, a left wing, and a striker. That's the positions that
I'm actually changing my left back to Saka.
Okay.
Because I know what I'm. Yeah, it's gonna be Saka.
And
I mean, again, it depends if Odegaard and ESR can play. If they can't play, then it's Xhaka for me. But if they are playing, then I'm gonna act like they can play. So
I never understood why we played Martin Odegaard for 90 minutes against Liverpool when he went away in international duty, picked up an on his ankle, and we got such important games that were coming up that he's missed them. This player that we've got on loan that's now so pivotal to what we're doing, probably going to miss the most important game of our season. But please continue.
Interesting that nobody picked Cedric for the starting lineup. That's very curious to me. That not one of you picked him at right or left back.
Kind of caused their goal, didn't he, in the last leg, in a way?
Yeah.
Heavily involved in putting us in the shit. So why would you reward that?
Fair.
I don't think he's that good, to be honest. But
so, Rowan, you want. I'll tell you what. Give me a midfield pairing. So, like I said, I have midfield.
Yeah.
Right wing 10.
Partey Xhaka.
Okay.
As I'm always second, we got Xhaka. Me and Ryan have got Xhaka in at the left back, right? So that
no, Ryan changed his to Bukayo Saka.
Oh, you little bastard! You're the one that sucked me in. You're the one that sucked me into putting him in the left back. And you got fucked off and left me. You're one of them. You are one of them, aren't you? Come on, Stan. Come on, and you fuck off. Well, I'm sticking with it, right? That which means that my midfield pairing of that base two. I'm sorry, I'm going for Thomas Partey and El Iniesta.
I like it. Ryan.
Could not agree more with Stan. El Neni is the best midfielder we have against pressure. They're going to pressure us. They're going to press us to death. El Neni is the obvious choice. It's not going to happen, but it should happen because Xhaka sucks against the press. And El Neni has to play. Simple as. I don't care. Sideways, backwards. He's our best midfield against press. It's El Nene, Partey. Easy.
Give me your right wing, Ryan.
The pyramid Pirlo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going. Oh, wait a minute. It's gonna be
your right back is Callum Chambers.
I just realized I kind of fucked myself a little, didn't I? Yeah. Oh, fuck it. This is what we're gonna do. Saka.
I'm learning a lot about you.
Can't put you have him at left back.
Oh shit! You're right. Sorry.
You're that guy, right? We're all sitting around a campfire and you put acid on everyone's tongue, and then we all swallow it. You put your tongue out and there's nothing on it.
Yep.
Oh, I just wanted to not put Pepe because everyone was like, "Oh, it's gonna be Pepe." Yeah, it's Pepe.
Stan, right wing.
Right wing, Nick. What am I going with my thinking trains? So, Nicola Pepe.
Rowan?
Pepe.
Okay.
He scored the goal. He's played well in the last game. Why not?
Who are you slotting in as the 10? So this is playing behind the striker. Rowan, we'll start with you.
Now, if I agree with what Ryan has said and Odegaard / Smith Rowe are available, then I'd put Odegaard in there.
Okay. So if they're not available,
Then
so give me because I think everybody would agree you're putting Odegaard at the 10 if he's available, right? Is anybody saying no to that? So give me plan. So let's do this. Give me plan B. If he's not available, give me your plan B.
If he is not available and ESR is also not available, then I could consider shifting Cedric on left back and Saka as 10 here.
Fair. Oops.
Because Martinelli has to play on the left for me. Martinelli's got to play.
Can I write that in a while? Martinelli's getting a start at left wing for you?
Yeah.
I'll write it down. Stan?
Yeah, same for me. I'm going with Martinelli on the left wing and in the number 10 because as I understand it, I don't think ESR or Odegaard are playing. I'm not 100% on that.
They're doubtful, but they could. But
I'm putting Saka in there.
You are the one that doesn't have to change anything yet with you. That has not changed anything with your lineup. So, Ryan, who are you putting in at the 10 and left wing?
So yeah, I would put Odegaard and Martinelli, but if Odegaard isn't available, I'm putting Saka in the 10, and then my left back's going to be Xhaka. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I think this is the one that's pretty much on everyone's mind tonight in the chat. Who you playing at striker? I get Ryan. You get to go first. Actually, Stan, you want to go first since you've gone second the entire time?
Yeah. I've got my answer, and
go.
I'm going to start with Lacazette purely because I'm very much into a rewarding effort, and I think he did have a good game in the last game. But I've got Aubameyang on the bench, and he's ready to go at any minute. Aubameyang. If Lacazette doesn't look like he's on it, and I'm making that decision quite early, looking at his movement and what he's up to, then Aubameyang comes in. There is no way that I'm gonna stick with a Lacazette running through treacle for like 75 minutes and then bring on Aubameyang. I'm making my decision by 55 minutes or so. If I'm not seeing enough out of Lacazette by 55 minutes, I'm bringing in Aubameyang.
Ryan.
So I know I'm going to make this more complicated, and I apologize, but if Odegaard and Smith Rowe play, I want Smith Rowe as my left winger instead of Martinelli. But anyways, I hate to say this. I don't hate to say it. He's Arsenal. He's on our team. I don't hate to say this, and I liked him even before he came here. I want to play Aubameyang. It's a big game. You play Aubameyang. I think Lacazette's done well for us. I think Aubameyang is in a dip of form, but I think this game suits Aubameyang more than Lacazette. It's just that simple. I don't think Aubameyang being away from the team is really going to hinder him. It's Slavia Prague. This is his game to shine. If he can't shine here, then sell him tomorrow. This is his game.
It's a good point, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's a very, very compelling argument, but I'm just a little bit of that, like when a player's done really well and then you leave them out. I think that's bullshit, especially if I was that player, I'd be like, what the fuck have I got to do? But your argument is compelling. He's supposed to be our main man. He's our highest paid player. He's supposed to, he's the captain, and this is our most important game of the season. I'm torn a little bit because your argument is bang on.
I just want to say real quick, Lawrence Emmanuel doesn't care what happens on Thursday. He just wants to know if Aubameyang's going to get over the flu or not. Like, seriously, Lawrence, I God bless you, man. But seriously, every time I see a comment of yours, it's Aubameyang has the flu. Do you think it was the flu? It was something about Aubameyang and the flu. I don't care at all why he didn't play on Sunday. He didn't play, and we won 3-0. I don't care. And if he's still sick, then he's still sick. End of. Don't care. I hope he gets better. I don't want him to live the rest of his life with the flu, but I don't care. So, anyway, Rowan, do we need to ask you I'm actually.
But it's so
Eddie and Kenny,
weird that I didn't think that this was gonna be the case that Ryan was gonna say Lacazette, was gonna say Aubameyang, and I was gonna say Lacazette. For me, Lacazette would start. And I agree with what Stan said. One thing that I don't want is that late change. That late change, 75th minute, bring him on. No, make that change 55th
55,
minute.
60 if it's not working. Yeah.
See, Aubameyang's not been in form. This is no question about his quality. There is not a question about his pedigree. None of that. Lacazette has been in form, and I'm gonna make Mike happy with saying that he's in his purple patch. And, as they say,
go get that clutter up.
I've got 4 more to go, and he's got to play. And if he can't perform, or he feels like he's got 20 pounds too much, he's got stones in his pockets, and he can't run for that 1-on-1, then you take him out. But you got to start with Lacazette in this game.
Stan, I think this is a new name for us. Katie Ann writes. I don't ever recall seeing Katie Ann in here before, but
no,
she's pretty confident. Hey, I promise 100% Arsenal will be up 2-0 by halftime Thursday. God bless you, Katie Ann. I want to take that one to the bank. I really do. So I feel like if that's the case, this is done. But all right, so
I will say this. Hold on, real quick. I got to shout out to Mike here. Imagine this. Thursday morning, you'll wake up. They announce Balogun has signed an extension with the club, and Balogun starts as a striker for Arsenal against Slavia Prague. This theatrics. I'll be doing this. Like Mike said, my interpretive dance. This is what I'll be doing.
Interpretive dance.
I'll feel like I'm on some kind of acid or something. I don't even know. I'll be climbing the wall or something.
Lizard man.
Yeah,
so we all agree.
As well. Welcome, Katie, by the way. Welcome for coming in. And we do this every Tuesday.
Yeah. So we all agree on Bernd Leno. Should get the start at goalkeeper. 2 Chambers and a Bellerin. Stan is 50-50 on Hector Bellerin. I am going to side actually with Ryan.
Yeah, you didn't pick anything.
I'm going to do it now. So Ryan and Ro, I'm sticking with you guys. I'm with you with Callum Chambers here. I think Bellerin he just hasn't played enough. If nothing else, there's just no consistency there with him right now for me.
It sucks too. This game suits him so well.
I just don't trust him. So, and with the injuries and everything else, I have to put Pepe at the right wing. So we all agree there. So right center back, Ryan is with Pablo Mari. He's going the two left-footed, Pablo Mari and Gabriel. Stan and Rowan are Holding and Gabriel. I am actually going against all of you. I am going Holding and Pablo Mari.
Oh, right. For a minute, I thought he was calling up Per Mertesacker from the academy.
Thought about it. Fuck it. You're gonna recall Sad Kolasinac. I'll recall Bill Saliba. How about that? So, anyway, left back. Ryan has Bukayo Saka at left back. Stan has Xhaka at left back. Rowan has Saka or Cedric at left back. Despite the performance, I'm going to go Cedric at left back. I don't trust Xhaka at left back there. I think he will get just run past and abused by them. But I also want Bukayo Saka in attack. So I just have no other choice but to go with Cedric there. We all agree Thomas Partey is in the midfield. But man, oh man. Two El Nenis and a Xhaka. So Rowan, you're with Xhaka, and I have said this before that he's probably he's not the best midfielder that we have, but he is the most important midfielder that we have.
No, you said the most important player on our team, you fucking weirdo. Don't. All right,
tit for tat. Anyway, we're not gonna go down that road. But all of that being said, though, I actually do agree with Ryan and Stan on this. I'm putting Mohamed El Neni in there. I'm not putting Granit Xhaka in this game. He's just going to get run past constantly in this game. That's just it for me. It's
hey, Glenn, you know what, Glenn? I don't know you're not listening anymore, but if you're catching some replay, I do hear the flip-flops. The flip-flops are very loud. Yeah, very loud.
Can I just say as well, London Lone Star's laughing at me because I said Xhaka at left back, but Ryan started that shit. He sucked me in. Right? He fucking sucked me in, man. So, I know what's going to happen, right? We'll be sat here next Tuesday, right? And Xhaka will have played at left back, had a nightmare, and Ryan will be all high and mighty and going, well, I don't fucking choose him at left back.
Yeah, you fucking idiot. What are you doing?
On right wing, we all agreed with Pepe on the right wing. I actually am switching my opinion on this. I'm actually going to put Pepe on the left wing to pair him with with Cedric at left back. So I'm going to see how they do on the left. They seem to do well on the right. Let's hope they can do well on the left.
Well, it's probably
on the right wing. So on the right wing for me is going to be Bukayo Saka. In the number 10, you guys all went with Bukayo Saka.
Say Willian, please. Say Willian.
You fucking dare. You fucking dare.
Say it, please.
You fucking try that shit on here, man. Come on. Tell me that fucking don't. You're doing this shit for clicks.
Fuck all of you. How about Reece Nelson?
You're an idiot.
Fuck off.
I rather Willian at the 10.
It has to be in the lineup that I'm making. It has to be Willian. It has to be.
All right, show's over, folks. It's been nice.
Who else you put on in my lineup? Who else you putting in?
I'd rather put in fucking Matty Ryan at 10 than Willian, for fuck's sake.
I'm okay.
At this point, I'm recalling fucking Mesut Ozil, mate.
So the only other option I have here, the only other option I have is to move Bukayo Saka into the middle and put Reece Nelson out on the right.
Yeah, that's way better than putting Willian.
Wait a minute. Fuck me. No, wait. Fuck me.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't put enough down the list. I'm forgetting about one major player.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So focused on ESR and Odegaard not being available, I forget about one guy that is. Fuck.
Oh, God
damn it. Yeah, we agree it was Saka at the 10. Fuck, man. I wasn't reading far enough down the list. Yeah, I'm dumb for that one. Do you laugh at me all you want, folks? Bring it. Let's go. I fully deserve that. We agree. Saka at the 10, Pepe on the right, Martinelli on the left. I just didn't even look at the left wing.
Clicks, you dirty bastard.
Fucking hell.
This would have been like the night the Beatles broke up. If you
if the Luchador is watching, you can absolutely tell me that I eat 30 biscuits, man, because I deserve it for that. I absolutely deserve
it. Your fucking biscuits are filthy,
dirty, whatever. They're hey, what's good on pizza but not on vagina?
Twinkies
crust.
Oh.
Sorry. Anyway, full of jokes. Ryan's got Aubameyang. Shockingly enough, he's the only one that has Aubameyang as the striker getting the start. Stan and Rowan go Lacazette. And I'm going Lacazette with this. Ryan, you are 100% right in your reasoning behind starting Aubameyang. I just don't trust him. That it's as simple as that. If he'd have played and Lawrence Emmanuel actually did say so the reason he keeps bringing this up, the Aubameyang flu thing, would you play somebody that just had the flu on Sunday? Would you play him this coming Thursday? They played Thomas Partey, who had a bout of leprosy so bad that you could have pulled his hamstring fucking right off, for crying out loud. Yeah, he pulled his hamstring, pulled it right off against the scum. You played him then. So
pick up thy bed and walk.
Wait, I'd have Gary Glitter. Lawrence, you got to tell me what you'd have Gary Glitter for, because absolutely brilliant, man. That's fantastic.
Who the fuck is Gary Glitter?
The Hey song. I have another joke about that, but I'm not going to say it.
No.
But anyway, so yeah, it's 3-1 there with the Lacazette at the start. I can't believe I fucking missed Martinelli. Like I'm staring at it. It's fucking right there. It's just the next line down. I'm like, who else do I start, guys? I don't know who else
Reece
to start.
Nelson.
Reece Nelson. Who else do I fucking start, guys?
I'm just kidding, guys. Not Reece Nelson. I'm going to start Willian at the 10. That's the play.
No. I'm going to start Miguel Aziz at the 10. Fuck it. Let's get weird.
After like 1 hour of slating Arteta for bringing in Willian.
It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes of this shit.
Yeah.
That's my excuse. And it's an excuse. It's not a reason. It's a full excuse.
It's like going to be our most important game, right, of the season. I don't know if I could handle 90 minutes of fucking Arteta on the sideline because there's no stadium noise going, Willie.
Denny, come, Denny.
Man, fucking Denny.
You know what we ought to do? You know what we ought to do for the next show? Or we ought to just do like one random show throughout in the middle of the week when there's no game, and we ought to just do Mikel Arteta impressions. That's all it'll be.
Yeah, I can't do it. I like it. I mean, yeah.
Oh my God!
It's basically be a show of me sending you 3 out on loan.
Yeah.
Well done. I deserve all of the abuse that I get for that lineup. Holy shit! I have.
And I will say the one sub I want to see after my 11, I do actually want to see Reece Nelson. I think Reece Nelson brings something to the table that we could use.
Because you remember, right? How many
not
subs
going to play.
We got like 5 subs. We got 5 subs, right? So there's no fucking excuses. No fucking excuses, man.
Yep.
5 subs.
If things ain't going right, change the fucking thing.
Yep.
But Stan, 4 horsemen, baby. We're 4 horsemen.
God.
Yeah, that's gonna be the new theme song. I got to figure out how to get the rights to that. Gentlemen, this has been fun. Massive shout out to everybody in the chat. I usually leave this for Stan, and Stan, by all means shout him out as well when we get there. But
great night.
You guys were brilliant in the chat. Really, seriously, real good comments from everybody. Yeah, that's all.
What? This is one of those nights where I kind of forgot people were watching us. I thought it was like we were just talking.
Yeah.
Off of air. It kind of felt a little bit like that tonight.
We got there. We always eventually get there. It starts off a little rigid. We always end up getting there.
We had a lot of new faces in there. We had Bam Majera in there, and DJ Touchy was a new one. He came in. A lot of new faces.
Yeah, he's a new one, all right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's do final thoughts. Rowan, I'm going to get you in here first on your final thought.
Biggest game of the season now. And I feel good after Sheffield United. I feel like we can do something. We take them down, we win against Valencia, and we play the final, and we get back to the Champions League, get a war chest, get players in. I want Arteta to succeed, and all of that is going to start on Thursday. So let's make that happen. And I'm just going to end with 8 words that are the best 8 words that I can end with, which is purple patch, purple patch, purple patch, purple patch.
Good. That's it. There's the 5. There,
Ding, 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 ding.
Ring the bell. Ring the. There it is.
A banker's draft will be acceptable.
Yeah. Mike's probably not even here. I bet you he bailed, and we're gonna have to make sure that we cut that and send it to him so that he sees that. So, Mike, if you're still here, you're on the hook, baby. You're on the hook. Stan, final word.
I mean, fuck. I mean, it's going to be around about 5 o'clock tomorrow my time when I'm going to start it will start kicking in. That's usually about my time frame for a big game, right? After work and stuff like that. I'm again, for me, it's all going to be about that starting lineup. When I get to see that starting lineup 1 hour before kickoff, I'm so much with Mikel Arteta teams that I never feel confident or unconfident going into games until I kind of see that starting lineup, and then I kind of get an idea of where I think we might be going. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm proved wrong. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I get it right every time. So that starting lineup, and then I'm really interested to see where we go from there, man. And I'm sorry for keeping you up, Tanner.
No, it's not. Absolutely not you. Sorry.
I'm joking, mate.
Rowan, you know what? Prediction. We did everything with the lineup. Give me a prediction, Rowan.
I think we're gonna do it the hard way. Probably go up 1-0 first half, gonna concede, and then gonna win it 2-1.
Does anybody here 100% show of hands think that already 100% we're getting through? Or are you like, because I'm not 100%.
99.9.
Nope.
Is that
100% then, right? So none of us can actually put our hands up and say, yeah, we're going through, right? I can't.
No, I don't think anybody. You'd be an idiot if you said that. If you said 100%, we get
nervous, nervous times, man. Fuck.
Anything can happen. Anything.
Stan, prediction?
99.9 though.
Oh, fuck. You put me in the fucking corner. I've got to say a win, right? I've got to believe, right, that we're going to come out of this with a win and get into the next stage. So, my prediction before the Liverpool game, I thought we could get at them and perhaps sneak away with 3 points. I got that fucking wrong. What do I know? But my hand on my heart says that we have to come out of this with a win. I believe that we've got the personnel to go over there and get the win. If we can get rid of the problems that I've been harping about for maybe the last 4 shows about the inconsistency part of our game, we should be able to get to the next stage. We have enough.
That's it? Not going to give me a score?
Oh, a score? Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Score then. 2-1 Arsenal.
Rowan, isn't that what you said? You said 2-1 too, huh? All right, Ryan, final thought and a prediction at the end.
They both said it pretty perfectly. It's the biggest game of the season. I just want to see speed. I want to go at them. We have to score. 0-0 gets us knocked out. So we got to go big. And like Stan said, this was a gamble in choosing Arteta as our manager. And I think we need to take a gamble in this game. And I think it's going to be 2-0 to the Arsenal. I think the second goal is going to be scored by Willian, who I don't even know what motto it is, but it's a gum, I think. And he's going to have the gum, and it's going to say "Stay fresh" because that's the guy who doubts Willian. And also, shout out to Taylor Edmonds, and just don't put Twinkies on your pizza.
I don't know what the Twinkies on the pizza thing means.
Don't worry. Taylor Edmonds knows. That's all that matters. He shouted a movie quote out at me, and I returned the favor to him. That's all.
Fair enough.
You just said all of that out loud, right? You weren't thinking any of that.
Final word. Again, getting to do this every Tuesday with the 3 of you, and people actually watch this and are interested in what we have to say. It just, every time I think about it, I get goosebumps. Seriously, this is fantastic. I'm getting to live a little bit of a dream here, and the 3 of you make it that much sweeter. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thanks, guys. This was a brilliant chat tonight. I mean it.
Don't touch me.
I'm gonna touch you, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna touch you. Final thought for me on the game. Herb Brooks, baby. Great moments are born from great opportunity.
Right.
That's what it is. This team has an opportunity to do something that a lot of us, I think, are pretty skeptical of. I feel better after Sunday. We needed that win on Sunday and that kind of a win on Sunday. So I definitely feel better about things on Thursday. But you got to play smart. Got to play smart. Got to play fast. And you got to take it to
Mentos. That's it.
Oh, there, yeah.
Big
me to talk about.
Stay fresh.
That's all I'm thinking of now is the Foo Fighters.
I'm about to say that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Foo Fighters. But no, yeah, play smart, play fast, play positive, and don't play scared. Let's go. Let's get at these guys. We sat back on Thursday and just played way too tentative. Just didn't want to make a mistake. Our buttholes were all puckered up, we couldn't take a shit if our lives depended on it on Thursday. So
just had a late arrival there in the chat box.
I sorry, I switched the chat box. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh boy.
Wow.
That's good. It's way to end the podcast. I like
Yeah.
it. I like
All I'm going to say is, right, if it's yellow, you need to change your diet or go see the doctor. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. Hang, I gotta do something here. Just done. All right. But anyway, that's it. Prediction for me. Kind of funny how this night's kind of gone. It's like top versus bottom here again. 2-0. I think 2-0 to the Arsenal. I think both goals are going to come in. I actually agree with that. It was a Katie Ann Wrights. It said 2-0 in the first half. I'm buying into that. I think that'll be the final score. I think we'll see it out in the second half, but that's it. That's all I got. So, gentlemen, pleasure as always. Good footy talk. We'll see you out there.